And we're live. Hello and welcome to Game Theory Gang, episode 150. I'm Maddie Allen with Crispy Man of Hexfire.io, Fast Abdul of 2phux.io, and Kareem. Welcome.
What's up, everybody? Sheesh. What a week. What a week.
Go ahead and hit the like.
You guys go nuts.
Hit the like and subscribe button. Fast Abdul has been out of his country. Back again. So we've got lots to cover here in this 2 hour and 20-minute show, don't we?
Nice. By the way, fun fact: party's over. we took out the Christmas tree.
No,
it's not a Christmas. Reality check. I had nothing to do with demonstrations, but you know.
I guess we're not going to get another RH stream for a while if you took down the Christmas tree. I thought that was gonna work.
It was time to go. Me and you we talked about it. It was like, all right, cool. When it lasted, January is like 1 month overdue. February, it was like, okay, cool. By the way, fun fact, not that it matters, but yesterday was my birthday. Jeez.
Happy birthday. I was gonna say, isn't that coming up?
Happy birthday.
Thank
now
you
can drink in American bars. You're 21. Congratulations.
All right.
Yeah, my friend took me out. That was pretty cool. So shout out to my friend Ricky. He's in town. Came all the way from Vegas to come hang out. So we happen to have the Super Bowl this weekend too. FYI, just putting it out there. If you guys are pulling in New Orleans, you know, we got some Mexican here. We're sure you got some love. But yeah, find a way to stay entertained, you know what I mean? In these crazy markets. Stay dig and chill, baby. That's it. And hustle.
That's right. Well, there's lots to cover with the new developments in PulseChain as well. I guess that's our leading story here. Is we have to catch up Fast Abdul because he's a
little slow, Abdul, this week.
I will accept that this week only.
So you were at a crypto meetup. You were at Randy Hilarski's event. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, yeah, it was pretty cool. It was the No Permissions crypto conference in Panama, which was only officially 2 days, but basically a lot of people sort of took a week. And there's a lot of networking, a lot of really cool presentations. The actuator founder Bill was there, and he went over, also known as C3, and he did a great actuator presentation, probably the best I've seen so far. And we covered all kinds of stuff from international banking. We had like lawyers, we had bankers from Panama who came and spoke and gave like full details on all kinds of very interesting things, and then health things too. Like there was a stem cell lab came in and taught us all about stem cells, and so it was a very diverse conference. There was a lot of people that I knew from the No Permissions group, but also from all over Hexico. So I got to meet like Corey Geary in person, got to meet Walrus in person, Triple Dad. First time I met Randy Hilarski, and Lainey, also known as Crypto Bella. She is real, which is cool. And a number of other notable people. So I was very happy to be there.
Awesome.
So I got a really bad sunburn though, like really bad. Like I gave myself sunstroke one day. It's hot in Panama, and since you're on the equator, the sun is like it's really close, basically. So yeah, you burn easy if you're white like me.
You got a little taste of if you were to come to my country, similar like that. You can just walk around. If you too much sun exposure, you can have a headache just by just staying. You have to be like finding shades. And
I gave myself sunstroke for sure. Like I made myself puke from having too much sun. Could have been the 17 beers as well, but I think it was the sun.
Yeah, and also you see that. So yeah, and you probably take 2-3 showers a day because you can just especially if it's the humidity on top of the hotness. Shit.
Yeah.
Good.
This was dry, like dry. So it was pretty nice that way actually. And it is Panama's an interesting country. It's kind of, I heard it compared to Puerto Rico. I haven't been to Puerto Rico yet, but it definitely seemed like an upgrade to Mexico to me, right? Like more business oriented. You feel very safe in the main city. And they have like gorgeous beaches. And
I was about to ask you, were you hanging out by the beach or you were more like inland?
Oh, we did a bit of everything. Like we went on a day-long boat tour, right? Like went out to some like fancy rich people islands and checked them out, and hung out at a yacht for 8 hours. It was great.
Nice. Yeah, shout out to Tam in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Welcome. Thanks for being here, as always. Somebody said good morning. Good morning.
There were, people on PulseChain who were around this weekend did not go outside and did not touch grass, because there was a Pump.fun fork that was launched on PulseChain called Pump.tires. I actually went on Mario Nafwal's show, and in front of at least 120,000 people who viewed it, not impressions, views, I explained why it's called Pump.tires, although I don't really know. It seems
you didn't do the X-rated version, did you?
Oh, what's that?
Oh, never mind.
Well, I mean, there's an X-rated version for the name of PulseChain, but we're not going to get into that either.
That's right. Yes.
Count your pulse, baby. Count your pulse.
But anyway, yeah. So I think the name's pretty catchy. I think it's good marketing. In terms of like something that's memorable and something that tells you, that this is a Pump.fun competitor. It's to pump somebody's tires is I didn't actually know this until I heard somebody in the community talk about it, but it's actually like an idiom or like an old phrase that means to hype somebody up sarcastically or something. So it's got a lot of deep meaning, And of course the British people, they're super upset because they spell tires with a Y.
Oh wow. Lol.
But the .tires domain, the TLDR, even being off the beaten path, is clickable on Twitter, which is like really important. That when you type pump.tires on Twitter, like it gives you a preview and it knows that it's a link and that sort of stuff. So we're gonna get into like all the shenanigans and like the pros and cons and everything, but just like from a high level view, that's kind of what happened. And then you had Richard tweeting about this. Hexy bastard 1 minute later saying like, did he get hacked? Everybody's asking, did he get hacked?
Read all the tweets, that's why.
But then apparently there were already like 19 meme tokens that were created by somebody who was playing around on the system before Richard had tweeted about it. And so those became like these questionable, like, are they the OA/dev tokens of the person who created Pump.tires? We don't know. There's of course like wild speculation about that, but there were, so far the ones that have gotten the most attention are, first of all, like a most wanted token, a meme
that's
token.
Funny as hell. I'll give that.
With the ticker most and Richard's face on it, alluding to the Interpol FUD.
You can do so much with that one word, most. Most
right.
wanted, doing the most, outrage marketing, everything, the picture, and that one is actually funny. And then the rest is, be careful.
Yeah, and then there were, I don't know, maybe I can show like a screen of like all the different tickers that were launched, but a lot of them were like interesting in that they, like there was a Hex meme coin launched. There's PLSX, Tron, Cardano, Tether, USDC, DAI, XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, DOGE, Elon, separately Mars, PEPE, Trump, and Pump.tires.
I wouldn't be surprised if
logo.
this thing has probably somewhere in the thousands by the time the end of the week or the month, because if it does like it does on Solana, most likely people are just gonna, because it's so easy to create stuff. So, but I think what's most important to talk about as the viewers is what's the high level of this thing being created. And again, we can only, I personally can only speak to what I believe I understood from the, the tweets, because, Richard goes to great lengths to break things down. Is ultimately, it's like, when we use the analogy of the casino, it's like, well, it burns a lot of pulse, it burns a lot of PulseX, all this volume. I think that could be one of the reasons also we're able to climb back to the top 4 of volume of chains. And, once upon a time.
Can you say that again?
Yeah, exactly. Back to top 4, trading volume. And once upon a time, we've learned that sometimes, one must update his worldview, and just whether you may not like something per se, but if the market wants it, and remember now we are more than one coin, then you provide what the market wants for those participants. That doesn't mean, that's why we got to be careful, that you forget that, those are highly speculative meme, and don't go there and lose all your money, because I've seen people, then they go and they run, oh my God, it's definitely, oh, it's rich, oh, it's this. You don't know. Like, having the website be launched doesn't mean that the person is saying, hey, buy this coin. It's just like, for those who want to come from other chain and love things like that, those are going to be the one using. It's kind of like you have a different class of customers coming into your restaurant, and then you just want to serve whatever they want from the menu. So it's like, you get customers who like this kind of food. You got people
who are you suggesting change their worldview?
Well, I mean, you can say based on the tweet, and obviously he didn't get hacked, so I'm sure Richard agrees with that worldview, because obviously he posted it, and then whoever part of the team that helped build and launch this thing, obviously it is a fork of Pump.fun, but it is probably was in the books, or probably in the plan at least 6 months ago, I would like to believe, or at least almost a year ago, because somebody referred to the Twitter profile.
That was fake news.
Oh, that was fake news? Okay. Being like a year old.
Well, I guess my point is this:
Yep.
I don't see any change in worldview. But I can play the outraged hexagon. How about that?
Please, we got to represent all viewpoints on this show. So even if we don't disagree with each other, we got to pretend like we do.
Yeah, I wear different hats, but I do believe. Okay, so I'll frame it up this way. It could be framed up as a huge betrayal.
Right.
Similar to the EHEX betrayal. I think a lot of people feel
Or
that
worse.
way, and they're reacting that way to it as well. And the reason I say that now, so you say I have an understanding, maybe that other people don't. Maybe I'm just insane. When Richard came out and started talking about pump that tires, I didn't think he was talking to me.
Exactly. Well said.
Now what does that mean, right? Well, shit, running after tokens, meme tokens, and pumping them and dumping them isn't exactly part of what I learned, right? In fact, it's the opposite of what I learned.
Yeah, totally the opposite of what he's taught.
Yeah, 100%. So I think this is necessary for a number of different reasons. But I didn't. A lot of people took it very personally, right? That, hey, you're telling me that anything I believed in and all the pain I felt for the last 3 or 4 years is now all gone for nothing, right? Not to mention, right? Obviously, I laugh out loud because it's just the way people move with their tokens. Obviously, an awful lot of people took an awful lot of their core tokens and went, and so did an awful lot of Atropa tokens and PDI, blah 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 blah. I mean, all these things went, right? So we experienced a double whammy with that. And so coin founders that are out there, right, that have been working hard and trying to figure out how they can make all this stuff work right and have all their setups done properly for things, they just got wrecked, man. Like, well, maybe not wrecked, but banged.
Well,
and not in a good way. In the my tires.
Like, to what extent can you quantify that?
Yeah, I mean, you see because I don't know, you guys aren't paying attention. Maybe the level I am.
I mean,
but what I'm saying is the pulse ratios got all out of whack. I mean, so if you've been working, so one of the things people do is they try to keep the pulse ratio up on a token, right? Well, that just got aborted.
Well,
with all the moves.
on Sunday night, ETH dropped 35%. So
not talking about dollars, man. Talking about ratios.
Yeah,
Yes.
but there's a ratio there of like ETH to Pulse as well that affects like how we interpret the effect of Pump.tires on like our token prices.
Yeah, Chris, basically what Maddie is saying, which is very important, is that the timing was also very, very horrible. You need to understand that ratio.
Or very, very perfect.
Right.
Yeah. So listen, I can look at it different ways, Kareem, too. Like somebody in the chat, and I think it's so true. This very last comment that just came in about us, meaning I imagine the entire.
Yeah, but that it's funny.
No better than meme coin. Yeah, because you know what? This is crypto. It's not me. What I'm saying is in general, what gets the most excitement? It again, humorous in kind of an ironic way. I was listening to people complain last week about having to wait a whole day or 2 days to get a transaction through on a chain that didn't work very well to chase after pumps just like this. Right? Just like this, and so it's kind of humorous now that they're also now complaining, some of the same people, maybe not all the same ones, about how they've been betrayed, and I get it though, because I felt the same way. And then guys, I saw it launch. I saw his tweets. I see his tweets all the time. Maybe I should have like dropped everything and gone to run and put $1,000 into tire.
Yeah, you could have bought a new house.
I could have, but that I don't. Most of the items that went through, or the tokens that went through, they dropped 75% afterwards, right? So it was. It's not a sure. Go.
Oh, you mean like the ones that were not created by the Origin?
Yeah.
Account.
Yeah, and the ones that were whatever the
36D cock. Account.
The COC.
What?
So that it's related to pump your tires.
Right.
So, anyways, the point I was just going to make about that is
it's the address. It's the name.
There are a group of those tokens, and I haven't gone into detailed research. Maybe it's in the chat. Will tell us. But man, bots are running, man. Right. Gas went through the roof, 10x, sometimes 15x, 20x.
Well, did you see the gas on ETH over the weekend? I think went to like literally 500 grand. I saw it at some point. It was crazy. I mean,
they ain't got nothing on 79 million beats, man.
Right.
They go from something costing you a couple thousand to 100,000 pulse to do a transaction. I mean, literally, people are frozen in place with some of the things they're doing. So, anyways, lots of controversy.
So let's click on that because so during the Sunday night Ethereum crash, I'm sitting here trying to buy, and I'm getting quoted. Well, first of all, Cow.fi, which is my go-to normally, just simply stopped working. Right. This is when ETH had dropped from, I don't know what it started out at the day, but I was watching it go down to 25 from like 3,000 down to 23, down to 21, then back up to 23 and 25. And so I'm, smashing the buy button, but Cow.fi doesn't work. And I mean, Ethereum is experiencing a heavier dip than PulseChain or anything else, more than Bitcoin or anything. So I'm like, all right, yeah, like I want to buy that. And believe it or not, instead of paying a $400 fee that I was being quoted on Uniswap on the Ethereum chain, I was able to make a buy on Base. Okay, that was a penny. And then I was able to make a buy as well on PulseChain. I could have bought on Coinbase if I kept any money on there, but I don't. And the only reason I had money on Base was because I had gotten that airdrop last week from Eric Voorhees. Bless his soul. Although screw him if he talks bad about RH. Like RH referenced something today that I didn't really understand. But so that's like that's an important lesson to know. Like when there's a flash crash, the price that you're quoted, you might not even be able to act on that unless you're positioned literally on PulseChain, I mean, is where you could actually do a transaction and buy wrapped ETH that turns into real ETH, or actually is real ETH on its own. So yeah, so that's like that's really important to keep in mind. And then just this afternoon, I think I paid whenever it was only $5 to do a swap on Ethereum. So that means that there's lots of people coming to the party.
Yeah,
that's not what it means. Come on.
So not only did you guys launch, like, go all in on meme coins while it's gone, you also like crashed the Ethereum price. How did you do this?
Correct. Well, the trade war actually with Canada and Mexico.
That's the news.
I thought you'd be there to smooth it over, but you were in Panama.
I was in Panama, otherwise it wouldn't have happened. Yeah, but it does sound like that's getting smoother. It still doesn't make any sense, but it's getting smoother.
It's a power play to bring them to the table, because the math behind that, in all seriousness, is important, because the trade from US to Canada, same thing with US to Mexico, people don't realize it's not equal. It's not 1-to-1. Like, for example, US only trade with Canada and it's equal to like less than 3% GDP. Same thing with Mexico, versus for them, it's like one is like almost 80-some%, and then the other one is like 70-some%. So it's like, if they mess around, like literally, it's really, really bad for them. But I think
if you go dollars to dollars, though, the difference isn't that drastic, right? Like,
well, no, it is.
US,
America,
like
respectfully,
25% is the difference.
Hundreds of billions of dollars trade deficit. Those are the facts. Like, excuse my French, but America is getting effed up by those countries, because the trade deficit has been really, really bad for many, many years. And one of the main reasons why he's doing it, because again, I heavily researched this stuff. It's also so that Canada and Mexico up the game for the border, because in the migration crisis, and also for the what's going on with the fentanyl and everything like that. That's why also China is involved with the 10%. That's really what the power play that they want. It's not so much about taking away the money. It's like, yo, you want us to negotiate? We're like, all right, cool. You guys got to start fixing the border, because there's a lot of illegal immigration that comes via Canada. People don't know that. And then the fentanyl thing that comes from China passed by Mexico and then cartels and then end up in the United States. So it's
honestly,
more.
The Canada border thing is a joke, Kareem. Do you know how long the Canadian-U.S. border is?
What do you say?
Any idea? Do you know how long the Canada-U.S. border is?
Yes, of course I know.
How long?
I'm talking about legal immigration. Do you know how easy? Bro, I have friends. Literally, they say, "Hey, it's hard for me to come to the United States. What do I do? Is I go to Canada." Literally, you barely get there with it. It's so easy to get a green card.
This is not immigration advice.
Yeah, exactly. But it's because I have friends literally that have done it. So it's like the process is just very, very easy, and then people loosely come in like that via Canada to there into the United States. Again, it's not here and there, but I've seen many things.
Should we build a Canada-U.S. wall? Is that the solution?
Which one?
No, we're talking about
we're gonna make you a state. Didn't you?
Which one of you guys is in Canada?
But anyway, I don't want to.
Which one of you guys are from Canada? I don't know who's who.
Exactly, it's funny. All I'm saying is that's one of the reasoning behind why the tariff, and then of course markets going to use that to overreact, and then market makers were just rinsing people. That's really what the real story is, because like I've been talking to people many times, like. You can see the big vector candle on the weekly chart for Ethereum, and a lot of people got rinsed, and that's why the Guays went crazy, because it was cascade liquidation. For people watching, they need to understand this crash that just happened over the weekend was way freaking worse than FTX. Let me repeat that again. The crash of this weekend was way worse than FTX. It was estimated anywhere between $8 to $10 billion lost in a matter of less than 48 hours. I mean, it's fucking insane. And then look at the timing perfectly. Market maker use the excuse of the news, gets everybody rinsed up. We're about to get all the good news from the crypto star. We're about to get all the thing that we've been waiting on, clarity, probably better stuff with the SEC, because we got Esther Pierce leading the new task force. We're gonna get the guidance. Like, everything's getting cleared out. And just like I remember seeing Bitcoin do the same move when he went to 3K, and nobody expected that. Everybody got liquidated. Carl Lemon liquidated. People from Crypto Banter liquidated. Everybody, dude, it was the saddest videos you will ever see. This is one of those moments where, jokes aside, when Richard Hart say, don't trade, be careful. It's those humbling experience when you thought you were such a G. We're talking about people that made money from the bull run since the 15,000 Bitcoin last year, and actually since even 2023. All of that money is gone. Those people literally said in their video, the account, Bybit, whatever, every position that they had. Some people had like 20 positions. Everything wiped out. XRP wiped out. BNB went to $500 and some change. I mean, it was insane. With like, and then they were like, "Oh my God, it's manipulation. How did this happen?" But you couldn't even speak. And then it's like, no, you got reminded that this is the danger of trading. You thought you got cocky, you got confident. When the price goes your way, you don't say it's manipulation. Now you're getting wiped out. You're like, "Oh my God, manipulation. We need to go talk to somebody." No, there's nobody to talk to. Exchange is not your friend. I repeat, exchange is not your friend. They know your stops. They know your liquidation price. That's the stop they're going to target. They use the news as an excuse. And one more thing, perfectly. Why do they do it? They do it on the weekend. Why is that? Because they know it's low volume, low liquidity. They can do all of their manipulation. They use the fear of the tariff, even though, like I just said, it's more of a negotiation tool for Trump than anything else. Obviously, some people are going to get affected. Again, this kind of change it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a little bumpy. But the market maker use that to rinse you, take all your money. So that instead of realizing that you shouldn't be getting washed out, you're going to go cry, "Oh my God, it's because of Trump." No, you should have known better. And those who got their coin, yes, price went down. But guess what? Like Maddie said, Ethereum went to 2,100. And today it's back to 27. It's not 3K, but it's not 2,100. It bounced back. But all those people who got liquidated, that money is gone. Finito. Okay, it's the equivalent. You got.
Look, last week on the show, I called 26K for ETH, and as soon as my trade went through, I was trying to buy it 25K, but as soon as it went through, I bought it 2,200, 2,300, somewhere in there.
Why wouldn't you? Why if you wanted ETH, why wouldn't you bought it when it was 1,800?
Because
who said he didn't buy it then? Who said he didn't buy it?
Because it wasn't 1,800 last week. Basically, is the problem.
Okay, pump my tires.
Right. So I mean, and that's I mean, so there's a lot to unpack here, but we're still updating Fast Abdul even about like the I mean,
can I close
what
a
did
comment?
people get? Please.
I said to you, because I disagreed with you. You said there are a lot of people are coming into PulseChain. Obviously, that's why things are the way they are. Some people may be coming in. I don't know how you can get the counts, but it's very unnatural trading going on those meme coins. Those aren't people pushing buttons. Unless there's a room full of monkeys pushing buttons. Sorry, monkeys.
What do you mean?
Dude, multiple transactions pumping through each of those every second. I don't believe it. I don't.
More than one person can't hit a buy or sell button at the same time, or what?
No, the fact that much all at one time when I can't even. I'm pretty experienced. I can't even get a transaction through.
You have to turn up the. You have to turn up the.
Thank you.
I mean.
Yeah. All right, man. I'll go with it. Sure. We just 10x the number of people doing transactions in one day. All right. I'm just telling you, it doesn't feel that way. I mean, I'm sure people came across.
No,
the money's coming from from core coins into Pump.tires. Obviously, like when you look at the charts, it's like, oh, what happened to the chart? Oh, it all went into this thing, right? Am I correct?
I don't think it's more people. Maybe I misconstrued what I said or something. I don't think it's more people. And shout out to Nagabo in the chat.
Oh, Nagabo in the chat. What's up, player? Long time no see.
Jackpot, bitches.
Yes, jackpot, bitch. But
but I mean, yeah, I've been pressing way more buttons.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah, like for me to get a transaction through in a timely manner, like, yeah, you got to crank up the gas.
Absolutely. And again, this is why he was also saying in a tweet, when people read between the line, that the asset of this thing is going to increase the burn. Think of it like Ethereum, right? He also tweeted a couple of days prior, if people pay attention, about how he called out Vitalik about, look, you return all the burn that you did since the merge. Look, it's bad. And before he started tweeting about the pump and the new coin, he was talking about, oh, look at this new thing. Look, it helps burn more PulseChain. People got to read between the line. He's not just saying, hey, here's a meme coin that, hey, Look, Ethereum, one of the value of Ethereum was the burn. That's why they did the upgrade, because back in the day, when if BTC really pumped like crazy, was because, oh my God, EIP 51500 is going to come. It's going to be great. We're going to burn it. That created a lot of hype. And now, unfortunately, we got to check the statistics. At the end of the day, the receipts are there. That's all I with Richard. It's like, it's not emotional. It's like you think one way, you believe one way, but then the market is giving you your report card, which is like, as much like earlier today when he was talking about how like, oh, people don't care as much about, you know, decentralization and even though they should, they just want to make money or whatever. That's the reality. We can sit here and say, oh, we don't like it, but again, the receipts is there. We just got to understand what's being provided, and you got to be able to pivot and change your worldview and understand that you do what you need to do for the greater good. And the bottom line is the way increasing. Yes, it might not be ideal, but it's not as bad as Ethereum, but it's burning a lot of pulse. A lot of PulseX is being burned, volume are increasing, and guess what? When you pump the tire, my analogy, where I understood it, is that especially if it burns PulseX and pump, because of bonding liquidity, it rises everything else. So it's like the casino is being activated, shit's gonna happen, volume is gonna be created, stuff is gonna get burned. It's like wink, wink. If you're smart and you've been watching Richard for a while, don't be one of those that get burned. Just understand that you want to own part of the casino and enjoy the ride. Now, if you want to go once in a while in the casino and place a bet or two and have some fun and have a drink, that's fine. But don't walk into the casino that you should be owning and then all of a sudden, hey, let me take my life savings and go put it on blackjack. No, you shouldn't do that. That's
right. Right. So, you know, some people got what, a 60,000x from the most wanted token in 2 or 3 days. And unfortunately, I'm not on the list of jackpot winners.
Maddie, you made 5K last week just on the airdrop. You already won.
That's right. Yeah, you know what I mean? Already won.
You can say, and you bought ETH at 2,200 on a crazy dip. Like,
right, exactly.
You're up 30% already.
So there's been a huge range of reactions, and you know, Sami, kind of one of Sami's points, and he's checked in the chat here.
Oh shit!
Shout out to him. He's quoted as saying like, the priests of the temple aren't meant to go to the brothel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So what do you guys think? What do you guys think about this? Like Hexologist made his own coin called Hexos, right? That's a huge shift from like the meta of like last week and like the last 5 years.
It is.
Okay. I mean, you just made as a joke. I don't think it was that.
Let me just tell you, it's temptation, my friend. It's temptation. If people are falling for the temptation. Hey, listen, I'll make one more comment about it, and then I'll let Kareem talk. The one comment is just what Sami said in a different way. Mm-hmm. He wasn't talking to long-term Hexagon believers. He wasn't saying, "Hey, you guys, go on stake and chase this," because I don't believe in anything anymore. I don't believe anything anymore that I talked about for the last 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, as it came together and his thinking. I think just the opposite. It may sound like I'm against it. I'm not against it at all. I think it's wonderful. It's burning a ton of pulse, and it's creating even more liquidity because all those people had this value that was loose because obviously they can get to it. They can't get it back once it's in the pool. It's gone. It's sunk, right? So liquidity just went up. The ability for the market to transact went up. We're burning a ton of pulse, and then afterwards, it's going to continue to burn PulseX. And maybe some people made some money, but some other people probably didn't.
Exactly.
Right.
And one more thing that's very, very important, and this is going back to the macro and then the token economics, actually, quick math. And Richard mentioned it on the tweet. Again, most people don't fully analyze those tweets. He said something very key. It's important with the bonding liquidity. Most of those meme coin, the main bonding pair that's using are the native coins, especially native Pulse. He made a great argument saying that part of the strength of Solana when the meme coins were coming in, just like back in the day with Ethereum, when there was no crazy stablecoin, you had to buy ETH, even if you wanted to create a scam coin or whatever. ETH was pumping because everybody had to own ETH to then be able to create their stuff. And then he's also realized that Solana got hit hard also because instead of using the core coins, they were also switching to stables. And then because they're switching to stables, it was selling a lot of the value. He had a great tweet that he broke everything down. So he already figured out the whole thing in the sense where if it's done right and using core coins as a native, let's say Pulse, for example, not only, again, like we just talked about, a lot of burning is happening, but then you're creating a cycle where it creates that bonding liquidity, carries everything together, and the money, the energy is not leaving the chain, so to speak. And like I said earlier, and Crispy said it best, he's not talking to core hexagon. He's basically saying, hey, Solana is known to have this thing about the meme coin, because we all know that it's not really a blockchain, right? It can be stopped anytime. But some people, they don't care. They're just going there to do the gambling. So
they call it that.
He had to update his worldview and be like, well, how do we attract those people? We talked about real stuff, but they want to do the gambling thing. Might as well bring the casino over here. So that way, we get the cheaper fee, the better Ethereum. We get what makes Solana tick, so to speak. We fork it over. The same way back in the day, we forked Uniswap. When the gate kept us, what did we do? We forked it. We created ETHhex.com, because now everybody knows we haven't been trading on the real official Uniswap for a long time. You can't even get to the website. It says you can't even swap. But guess what? We don't care.
Uniswap and Coinbase and Solana are literally committing fraud by lying and saying that they're part of crypto, and they're not. They literally are not crypto, because if you don't have your own keys, you're not crypto. So, boom, there.
Some Russian guy with a spreadsheet who wrote down how much, in theory, they owe you, right? Effectively.
Right. That's right, exactly. They're a bank, and they lie and commit fraud and put on the App Store that they're part of crypto. Exactly. When they're not. So PulseChain is true crypto, and this has been like very clearly identified. This Pump.tires is like, how many people have read the legal disclaimers that are on there? I have, right? It's very clear that this is like software that you can run yourself, and there's no central person in charge that's liable or anything like that. It's really interesting, but look, I think that personally, I'm not putting all my money into this, but I think we haven't really seen anything yet. I see Richard, he's counting the days on his tweet. He said it's day 2 of this. He said it's day 3 of this. He said it's day 1 of this. Okay, so that makes me think maybe he's not going to talk about it every day, but he's already created a pattern there. I mean, I picked up on it even before today when he said it's day 3. I picked up on the pattern yesterday when he said it's day 2.
I think this is a good topic, right, to be talking about, and that there are obviously lots of good stuff for the chain, but what makes you now decide that you're going to chase this shiny thing, right? I mean, it's just so classic, right? I mean, I feel it too. Believe me, I feel the same thing.
I'll tell you. So it's literally, it's the liquidity and the Hart's Law and the fact that it is 100 times easier for USDT on PulseChain, the meme version, to go to $1 than it is. And I'm gonna like emphasize on this, because what I've already seen, super recent development, is that this is a perfect example. So a bunch of PEPE people decided that they were missing out, on this, and they were gonna get left behind. Not everybody. That's not the overall sentiment. But but what do I see on chain? I see that if you want to buy the meme DAI right now with Pulse, it's going to route through PDAI, because they created like a 45% liquidity pair with that. Okay. And that's part of the reason why when you just had a 50% pullback in the meme version of DAI, you had a huge 25% crash in PDAI, because they did it accidentally at a local top instead of doing it at a local bottom, because there haven't been very many local bottoms. Like these things ran maybe they ran like 5 or 10x on the first day, and then another 10x to 20x on the second day, and then today they're up a double, I'm talking about the meme stablecoins, USDC, USDT, and DAI. And you already have DAI, the meme coin, trading at up to 1/6 of a penny, where the the protein version of DAI that's been copied over that can pump, had been trading at I think, was it up to 2 cents, maybe
Same
higher,
Same
and
price.
a week ago, and then fell down to 1.5 cents when this stuff launched, and then maybe broke down below a penny recently today. And so what I'm trying to get at is that you had a situation with PDI, whether you love it or hate it, where they had bonded themselves so tightly to Hex that, like, I don't really think that there was like an easy way for Hex to move up without PDI, having created all this inflation onto Hex, and vice versa, Hex creating inflation onto PDI because they had bonded themselves. And so, if the OA doesn't want to give you a free ride, I don't know, does he launch like a meme version that all of a sudden becomes very easy to pump? What we know is that even without the OA involvement on either of those coins, we know that like the meme version of this can pump much easier until you come along and bond a bunch of stuff to it, and then it becomes a heavier version of that. And so I think it would be hilarious if USDT, which is my favorite, if that went to $10 on PulseChain, that would be just as funny as PDI going to $10, or sorry, as DAI going to $10 or USDC going to $10. But I think, and somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, I think that PDI has those maker contracts that would actually stop it from going above $1. And would certainly make it redeemable for PUSDC.
In theory, that if they work, it would have a ceiling as well as a floor, which is what makes a stable coin, right? Whereas these meme versions don't have a ceiling or a floor. There's no contract in place.
They have just the pulse price. So if the pulse price goes up 10x, these things go up 10x. Which already takes you to what 30 cents, 50 cents right there.
This is the key. What I said
temporarily.
What makes this thing actually more crazy potential-wise is the fact that, again, it's not bound to stablecoin. It's built bound with the native coin. So when the native coin pump, it can create insane euphoria because people just want their dopamine fix. That's just what it is. So it's like, not only you're gonna do that, but then if you start creating some crazy random pumps, whatever, that's what can ignite something like that. But all I just want to remind people here and our viewers who are usually, for the most part, long-time Hexagon. And by the way, great comments for everybody. This is really cool. Because, attention is attention. That's a really, really good point. And the energy coming in. I just hope that people also don't get lost in the sauce. It's all kumbaya. You have a little bit. You enjoy the casino. You go, you play a little $100 on the blackjack. But do not show up with your whole savings. And then when you lose it all, respectfully, and then you come in here and be like, oh my God, somebody's getting there. No, that's your fault. So as long as people understand that, this is why I go out of my way to make sure people read the totality of the tweets that Richard's talking about. And that's what a lot of people make a mistake. They always like, this pump that they barely read one tweet. They don't even bother reading the whole thing because, maybe it's a long message. I don't want to read it. I just see a pump or whatever. And then they go and they complain instead of actually trying to understand the top process, what's being offered here, so that you can have a nuanced point of view, right? Again, like I said a couple of weeks ago, two things could be right at the same time. You could be very, very pro all the key values that we've been talking about ad nauseum for years and still allow, because we have PulseChain, whether we like it or not. Like back in the day, in the beginning, when I first met Fast Abdul on the show, and we were talking about, liquidity providing that, it's a different play. It's not staking, it's different, but it's for those who want to do it, because some people don't want to stake, and it's okay. The same
this new stuff is bringing in action and activity, and I can see the relevance. But my big question is, what happens next, right?
Well, what happens next is that people need to be. Again, that's my humble opinion. I think our job here, which has been for a while, is continue to educate so people understand the tool that they have. The same way, like I just said, you're going to have people that want to go and stake. You're going to have people that want to do, I just want to do LP. That's my thing. And then you're going to have people, and I know some of them, random, just They don't want to do none of that. I'm just here for the meme coin. Ha ha ha. Let me just, that gambler mentality. There's no other way to explain it. I say, I want to throw $1,000 something, and then hopefully I can get rich next week, or I'll lose it all. For them, it's literally no fucking difference than going on sports bet website, bro. I'm telling you, I know people literally, they'll just go and put 10K on the fucking game, and then it's like, great, if I win this, boom, 20,000. If I lose it, all right, cool, money's gone. Like this weekend here, it's Super Bowl. There's crazy bets going on left and right.
Huge bets,
right?
Yeah.
At the Caesar Casino, I was just walking by the other day. Oh, bro, people will do the most craziest thing that you wouldn't even believe because it's possible. Now, back to the casino analogy. You're not here to judge people. They're willing to put the bet. You make your guarantee money. Because you're the middleman, life goes on. That's all it is. And I think that, again, because it's bound to the core coins, it's a way to burn some Pulse. It's a way to burn some PulseX. Because guess what? For the past many, many months, we've been bragging a lot about the PulseX burn, which is great because it's pure deflationary. But we need to start worrying about the Pulse burn too. Because guess what? We're a copy of Ethereum. If we're not careful, what has happened to Ethereum is going to happen to us too. In other words, EIP 1559 got copied on PulseChain too. But what's the lesson learned from Ethereum? If Pulse is not getting burned at a steady rate, we will never make PulseChain deflationary, whether we like it or not. It's going to be disinflationary, which means it's still going to have inflation. We're going to have burn, but the burn is not going to offset the issuance. We need to get to a certain level of burn. Again, it's an unpopular belief. Yes, Gwei is going to go higher, but we need a little bit of higher turnaround to burn this thing to make it deflationary so they start looking a little bit like PulseX. And this thing here, my understanding is going to be a great tool that's going to be able to do that and potentially, no guarantee, potentially attract new players from the Solana ecosystem into our ecosystem the same way. And shout out to Somni and shout out to some other people that I saw. I think Benjamin Cohen was one that I see that there first, where you see the ETH BTC looks like literally the BTC Solana ratio. Like it's look like it's about to just do what ETH has done. So that tells you that at some point, very soon, there's going to be a rotation out of Solana and to some degree, some of the meme coin. And the macro also agrees with it because guess what? Once again, we're getting clarity from CryptoSar. We're getting, the task force. We're getting everything done right to the point where real blockchain, real project that you can make promises is going to be allowed again in the United States. That's huge because people forget the root of the meme coin. It became a big thing because as an irony, you do try to do something legit, you potentially get sued and go to jail. You do something like nobody cares and then no expectation, you're safe. Like the world was backward. Now we're going back to reality where you're going to be able to build real project.
You're saying there could be a utility season after the meme season.
Exactly, because once we get clarity, again, that's my speculation, but I see the macro. Once the clarity comes in, VC and also are going to start doing those heavy stuff. That's why, again, even Trump bought now $400 million worth of ETH. You don't care about the dip. They keep buying and they're extracting money from Solana. That's why the Trump coin is going down. That should tell you that meme coin is about to hit the phase where it's like use and abuse. Just like we had a DeFi season before, whatever. The new shiny thing comes in, then the lemon gets squeezed, and then it gets thrown away. Now, we're trying to catch the last few drops from the lemon on the way out. But the people should not get lost in the sauce. That doesn't mean, once again, don't go have fun. Don't go to the casino. No, just be responsible. That's it. And you remember that you're in a fucking casino. That's it. The problem with people is like they can't have two thoughts could be right at the same time. It's not, we're not extremists like, oh, only do this or only do that. No, just understand its nuance. And I love our show because we're trying at least to the best of our ability, at least me for sure, is just to explain people, those are the tools that you have, understand what they do. And then, hey, you're a grown-ass man or woman, go and make your decision. But at least you make an educated decision once you know what the tools are, what your options are, so you know what is what, and then you can make a decision. So,
well, I was not super impressed with the press conference today from David Sachs. I think a lot of people who saw it got like a clipped version at the beginning because even Autism Capital like commented the same as I did and was like, they literally didn't say anything. And then we saw a clip come out where David Sachs did in fact say the word Bitcoin strategic reserve or something. And so I think there were like you know, there were like 13,000 of us watching like a version that just didn't have that because they were like doing a pre-show commentary. But but the bottom line is like mostly it was a nothing burger.
Yes,
Mostly it was a minor sell the news event. But another thing that I've heard from crypto people that I think is like a great comment is, Bitcoin, whether it's at 90K or 100K or 108K, like that's not a big deal. Those are still all like super high numbers compared to when Trump got elected and all this other stuff. And so, I think like overall things are headed in the right direction. Obviously,
in the moment though, it feels like a crash, but then you got to check reality and be like, okay, Bitcoin's still pretty close to 100K.
What is this, a dump for ants? We're only going to get a 10% pullback and stuff, like when there's max fear and like max capitulation and a bigger blow up than FTX, and all we're getting is a 10% dip in Bitcoin. Like
Bitcoin's down to $7,000.
That's why. But one thing to not be like that should not be underestimated is like the amount of leverage that got wiped out, bro. Those people, they lost all their money. I can't stress that enough. Imagine those people who bought the Bitcoin dip at 15K, 20K. Again, I use Carl Moon as an example because he was bragging about having, I have the lowest position ever entered. That's cool, $16,000 Bitcoin, and he kept it open for a while. Well, even that got liquidated. So it goes to show that a lot of those people return all the money to the exchange. The exchange say, thanks for playing. Thanks for working hard for the past year and a half. I'm taking everything. I'm getting you liquidated. Oh, and by the way, thanks for the volume too. I'm making money on that. I mean, it's just, they're making out like bandits. And of course, there is outages. I heard about some platforms coincidentally, we went to maintenance from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. So it's like people couldn't even log in. I mean, you can't make this shit up. We've seen it so many fucking times. It's just the same thing over and over and over. And now the cascade liquidation kicks in. You can't even log into the exchange or the derivative exchange. You can't even get in. So let's say even if you had extra money, you want to be able to like what's called when you get like a margin call, you can kind of quickly try and send money to the exchange to protect your position. You couldn't even do that because you can't even log in. So the computer just wiped you out. So by the time you log in, the screen just tells you that all the positions are gone. It's a clean slate, like literally clean. Account gone. Somebody lost like 10 million, like gone. 48 hours, money zero. We're not even talking like, oh yeah, he went down and he goes back up. Like no, gone, like a hack. And I think that's the thing that people need to keep in mind, because over the weekend, everything got hit. Because the liquidation was that bad. No single coin got like protected. And of course, Bitcoin dominance went to 64%, rightfully so, because when everything gets wiped out like that, there's a lot of bots in the system. People underestimate. We're almost like the stock market. Out there to say the algorithmic and the pairs is at least now 60, 70% bots. Back in the day, in the early crypto days, you guys remember some coins were like acting a little bit different from one another. But now they kind of go in unison. Like if something goes down double digits, they kind of all do the double digit together. Ethereum just got extra murder because there was a little bit more leverage because everybody knew or were thinking altcoin season is coming, blah, blah, blah. So now the ratio also is getting affected because when Bitcoin dips all the way to 91,000, that's what the bot does. He's going to sell the meme coin, sell everything else to go buy that dip because he knows that that's the coin you want to get compared to the other coin, especially during a crash. And that's what happened. So I just want to warn and remind people, be careful out there. Like, it's all fun and game until you get completely wiped out. In a fucked up way, even if you were to play with a meme coin with a little bit of money, it's still better. I say it's still better than you doing heavy leverage and losing all your money. Because at least when you do the meme coin thing, hopefully, if you did it right, you didn't even use 1% of your bag. You just like, hey, haha, this sounds like a fun thing. Let me try it. And then, because you already have a good asymmetrical risk reward. If you put $500 and the thing do a 50,000 hex, you good. Which means you don't have to put 10K. You don't, because if
leverage
really
makes everything else look safe. Like it makes farming look safe. It makes meme coins look safe. Like
exactly. That's how crazy it is.
Like it's 30x leverage, 100x leverage. Like that doesn't exist in traditional finance, right? That's just
that should be illegal
for crypto bros.
Yeah, they don't get it. They don't get how the hedges against them. So it's almost like you got like like you go to the bank and then you get a loan, and then the loan shark comes in and be like, oh, I'll give you this 100K, but by the way, it's 40% compounded interest. Like what? That shouldn't even be legal. You know what I mean?
Because when you're 100x leverage, you're broadcasting publicly or even on like an exchange. You're doing it's like a group of insiders. You're broadcasting that a 1% dip in the price means all your money is taken for free by them. So
they're hunting you, right? Like
so like
guys, they're taking flash loans.
So
like,
it doesn't even make sense in crypto because in real crypto, even if you're doing it on chain, that's like doing it in the open. And if you're not doing it on chain, that's like the same thing, except, in a lot of ways, like you're going to get rinsed the same way. In this,
being said, though, you don't have to do 100x leverage, right? Like the good tools that allow you to do leverage on chain, GMX on Ethereum, Fame on PulseChain, like you don't have to crank it up to 30x leverage. You could do 3x leverage, and you're much safer, right?
Definitely much.
But then ETH dips 33% and you're gone.
Exactly. So
like it just did.
Yeah.
So
no, you can't do 3x leverage.
Okay, not true. 1.5.
Yeah.
Right.
But I get what Abdul is saying, which is a good point, which is like it's a little safer compared to the 100x for sure. But even that, it's a friendly reminder, like Matty just said, that it could happen. This is, bro, I wish, I'm not trying to hit on the guy so bad, but that video to me was funny because the guy, he was a loss of word. There's a video that came out like 2 days ago from Count the Moon. He was just shell shocked. He couldn't even speak. Because like, how did this happen? How is this possible? You forgot that the chart can go lower than you think. The same way the pumps can go as crazy as you think. Oh, 1,000x can never happen. And then you see it, you're like, oh my God, you shell shocked, but in a good way. Well, guess what? You can get shell shocked in a negative way. Remember Luna? She went on 99%, and then people went, oh, let's buy the dip. It's down 99%. And from that point, he went another 99%.
Another 99. Yeah.
I did it 3 times. I was like, yo, what the?
Because I think I threw in a couple $100 there too. Yeah,
exactly.
Because it did dip another 99, and then
when they're hunting you, for people who don't know, when they're hunting you, you say, "Oh, cream, I'm smart. I'm not putting a stop loss. They're not gonna find me." No, for the real market maker, the liquidation price is the virtual stop loss. You cannot hide because that's when you lose everything. In other words, you're even better off having a stop loss, and that's true. Yes, usually the bots hunt the stop loss first, because he wants to like make you lose money guarantee. But even if you're trying to be slick and be like, oh, I'm not going to put a stop loss, I'm just going to use the whole portfolio. Well, guess what? That's how you lose everything even faster. Because sooner or later, when the price goes low enough, it wipes you out. Like we were talking about, 100x leverage, 1% move, you're out. That's your virtual stop loss liquidation price. If it's 10x leverage, price go up 10% or more, wiped out. And every coin was double digits. So even if you thought you were like, oh, I play safe, Cream, I only do 10x leverage, still wiped out.
Well, the major exchanges couldn't even agree on what the price was. This is a graph of like the wildly different prices of Ethereum. It's a little bit hard to see on the screen, but basically, Coinbase at the same time that Bitstamp was showing, the price, it was 2484. Bitcoin is showing higher, Coinbase is showing higher than 2,600. And so there is a major divergence because of this flash crash.
Yep, there's more leverage on those exchanges compared to Coinbase. That's why the liquidation happened faster over there, because there was a lot of more cascade liquidation, because a lot of the Bybits and whatever, their market makers are using exchange like, again, Binance, OKX, Bitfinex, stuff like that, old school, because those are usually the exchange that will even allow you to have this insane leverage. Because Coinbase, to some degree, thank God, it's the United States, it's almost illegal to have that much leverage. They shouldn't allow that. This is also why on Kraken, the maximum leverage you can get is like 5x. Thank God, because they know that it's like you want to give a knife to a toddler, like, and you hope he's not gonna hurt himself. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, no, those are tools you don't give to kids. They don't kill themselves. Like, you don't do that.
Yeah, agreed.
Hey, Johnny Chaos in the chat. Welcome.
Well said, Johnny.
He said a stop loss is only there to make you comfortable and conditioned to accept loss.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Boom.
Yeah,
the game is rigged. That's for sure.
Big time. But you know what? In a messed up way, I hope those who did not get liquidated learn from those who did, which is a friendly reminder that it's all kumbaya. Oh, I'm a genius trader. And then you wake up one day and your whole portfolio is gone, and everything you've been working on, whatever plans you were thinking about, oh, I'm going to do this and buy this, and or maybe it was house or whatever the dream was, you literally just lost everything because you get too comfortable. What's the frog analogy, right? When he's in the thing and then slowly raise the temperature, and then next thing you know,
boiling the PEPE.
There you go.
Boiling
And
the
then
PEPE, yeah.
the PEPE, the frog is getting fried.
So if leverage isn't the play, then what is the play? You know?
Well,
how can I win?
PEPE on PulseChain, the meme version, I saw, dollar cost crypto and others are already using this as a marketing point, and like I said, with the liquidity setup, how it is with wrapped pulse and everything, we could see a day where these meme coins, if they haven't done and rinsed everybody on chain or whatever, if people haven't lost all their money and like rage quit and like burned down the chain, you could see a situation where some of those meme coins do, with the P copies, what we hoped they would do, which is like, be going up 20% in a day or down 20% in a day, attracting traders and creating a marketing opportunity for Hex to say, actually, our XRP is worth more than your XRP, and it's a meme coin with no utility and no founder, and nobody trying to.
What's the name? No company to dump $1 billion or unlock every month.
No venture capitalist.
That's the good marketing point right there.
Yeah. So you've got 19 examples of different tokens that could be used for outrage marketing, so to speak, or parody marketing. I'm not against the original plan of the P copies becoming valuable and being used as like a liquidity vampire attack, because you only have to grab 5% of the people on Ethereum who are holding the tokens, like DOGE Elon Mars. You get 5% of the token holders who have nothing to do with liquidity. You have them come over and take their free copies, create a liquidity bomb between those two things, and all of a sudden you have a significant price appreciation on the P copy because it's bonded with the E copy, and now that entire $15 million liquidity pool that's paired with ETH on the Ethereum side now becomes accessible to the PulseChain side. And if you do that with one token, you might do it with many tokens. And so that was the original game theory of why PulseChain might become the most valuable chain in the world.
Yep. And now the new joke is that we had those copies, like you said, and then now when you see the XRP memes and the Cardano, it's basically the copies of the coin that were not copied before because they were not, on Ethereum. So in other words, it's almost like now you have an XRP copy, and then the joke will be if they're trying to catch up the price on the other chain. You know what I mean? But then again, that's something that personally I will not partake. But again, to each their own. Go have fun and just be careful. If you're in the casino, that's the only thing we can say is just watch out. But hey, go get your fix if that's what you need. Just don't get white. Don't lose your shirt, basically.
I think all of us know, or the guys on the screen anyway, that you should be looking the places where other people aren't. Like, usually don't buy green candles, buy red candles. And there's some very tempting red candles on the Pulse chain right now in what I consider to be pretty decent stuff, including Hex and Inc, PulseX, etc. So we've seen people move into
the real versions.
The real versions, yeah. I find it very curious that people would buy the meme coin version of something that has utility.
Oh, dude, I did that.
But as long as they are, and they're willing to sell me their version that is not the meme version for a much lower price, I'm probably going to take that deal. To me, that's the play. I could be wrong, but I see a sale on PulseX right now, and everything that's happening right now is going to burn PulseX. So I don't know why it's on sale. It doesn't make any sense.
How deep is the discount?
Only 12.53% today on the 24-hour, but
okay.
But I think again, this is a friendly reminder to show everybody that also global crypto bounding liquidity still applies. It's because again, Bitcoin and Ethereum, I don't want to be pessimistic. And Maddie, if that's okay with you, I'm gonna share my screen, show the chart. It's like Ethereum might be doing a bear flag. I've seen it. It rarely do V-shape. Sometimes it do W pattern. It goes down crazy, then it bounces crazy, and then you think, oh, it's going back, and then it just finds the meme average. It goes down 30%, then it bounced up half that, which is about 10 to 15, which we kind of did earlier today, and then it slowly, I watch it like a clock, it slowly starts to push the other way, and it might retest the low, because the people who are insane shorting these motherfuckers, they like to run it twice. They always run it twice. They got to test. They set the general, send the soldier first, and then the soldier goes back and represent general. The defense is low over there. We can go back, bring the main army, and then you think, oh, it's over. They only did the one raid, and then they come back. And if they come back hard, Bitcoins go to 90K, Ethereum goes back to 2,200. I hate to say it, but that can happen. And if that happens, I don't care what you invest in. I don't care what meme coin you think you're in. That shit is going down, because bonded liquidity gets hit, Ethereum gets hit, PulseChain gets hit, and everything else gets murdered. So just be very, very, very cautious of this. And on Bitcoin too, there's an M formation that's starting to look like, which is it's scary, but I have to tell you the truth, because this whole week is not over. Canada drama with the US, a little bit of who knows with China. They're gonna use the trade bullshit excuse this whole week. Maddie, share my screen, please. Can you guys see it? Yeah. So It's like I call it the clock, right? It did the big wick, came here, boom. That's what I call the 1 o'clock, done. Then the 2 o'clock, done. Then he tried here, double top, M formation. Now it's going down. Chances are people can just short it again and send it back. And the moment you see this could just be like rising wedge and then false. If we don't quickly go back, this thing can, I hate to say it, but it can literally go and revisit. Again, this is the 1 hour, but it's good to show you. Same thing when you look at that. That looks like it's running out of steam. So at any time, it could literally go and revisit. Same thing with Bitcoin. You look at it on the 1 hour chart, you see the same pattern. It's like puke down. Imagine there was a trend line here. I didn't draw it, but you can see it. Imagine there's a trend line here, right? We call this what's called a bump and run reversal. Came back, bump, run it, made money. But the people who have been shorting here, who added position here to short, trust me, they made money here. They let you think we're going back up, and then they reload over here, and then they short again, and that's what's happening. So, and now it's doing the stairs.
Looks like it's like pre-programmed. Does that sound accurate? Like pre-programmed spread?
The panic got reversed. Now it's controlled demolition. And Michael Saylor may not have enough money to bail everybody out. And then when you start looking at it on a 4 hour chart, you start to see that, look, M formation, like this thing might just do this and then come back to 91,000 again. Because make no mistake about it, when something wick like this, it has to come and retest. Now, if we're lucky, it stays around 95K. And if it holds that, we're good. If we're not lucky and this cross bearish on a 4 hour, it's not going to be good. And then when you look on the daily, I want to show you guys something. Actually, no, you see on the weekly. Again, I don't want to scare nobody. I just want you to pay attention that it could happen. It's not guaranteed, but you see another kind of M formation that's happening here. Like, boom, double top. Now, Bitcoin can go back to 70, 80K. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying usually when you fail into the Gaussian channel, again, after exploding like that, you come back. Usually you go to the medium, and if this loses it, you go here. That's the next phase. And then after that, maybe the moving average. And technically, we're still bullish because the moving average is still pointing up. So technically, Bitcoin can go all the way to 80K and it's still bullish and then bounce. And if that happened, Ethereum's getting murdered. Ethereum's getting murdered. Everybody just go like, so you can see it. M formation, double top. 1, 2. We need to quickly get out of here. Like, within a week or two. If not, if Bitcoin start hanging around here, sentiment is going to start to change, and then we're going to revisit down. So I hope it doesn't happen, but I just want to warn everybody. So before you go ninja crazy on your meme coin, make sure you keep an eye on Ethereum. Make sure you keep an eye on Bitcoin, because this is why Ethereum went to 2,100. I remember I saw that, because it wasn't just the ETH getting liquidated. Obviously, there was a lot more volume over there because there was a lot more people thinking that alt season was in play. But people got liquidated on Bitcoin too, because I was watching it live. It went to 2,700, almost 2,600. And it kind of stayed there for a while. But then all of a sudden, Bitcoin went from 95K all the way to 91 because Bitcoin starting to get liquidated. And then it just took Ethereum and then it sent it back down as well because it's bonded, whether Ethereum likes it or not. If Bitcoin started to crash, correlation goes to 1. Everything follows each other. And also because the bot, what is the bot doing? They're selling the Ethereum and they go fucking buy the Bitcoin dip. This is the reason why if BTC broke the 003, which was a strong long-term support. But at the end of the day, it broke it. Now it's at 2.7 to 2.8. It's bad. So sad because that was a multi-year.
What's the 2.7? Can you clarify that? Are you talking about the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio?
Yes, Ethereum Bitcoin ratio. It's at 0.027. So like kind of like 2.7%. And
but people expect that, like the conventional wisdom, as I understand it, is they expect the ratio of to change in favor of Ethereum, right?
Exactly. But when there's capitulation, unfortunately, ratio goes a long way. Everybody panicked, and then Bitcoin dominance goes up because everybody just reload into Bitcoin. And there's a lot of bots. The bots are doing that automatically because usually what happens is Ethereum has to do, Bitcoin has to do semi-okay or pump for the alt, aka Ethereum, and everybody else to kind of carry on. But the moment Bitcoin gets smacked, they also get smacked. And what was sad for Ethereum was already getting smacked before even Bitcoin started to crash because there was that false breakout because he broke out. He went to 3,400. Everybody thought this is it. People went crazy, triple leverage long. I was watching the video. People were bragging about going 50x, 100x leverage. Fucking crypto, people talking about $10 million position. I mean, my social, right? I was like, yo, watch out. And then it hit some target. Make no mistake, some people made money. But then when it did the reversal, because you think, right, it breaks out, usually breakout retest, right? Rise, retrace, shift out. But then when he did the retest, it failed to hold the retest. It re-entered the flag, because there's a falling wedge. Broke out of the falling wedge, supposed to retest and go. But when he retest, he actually went back into the falling wedge. And when you see that, usually you exit. But then people thought they were geniuses. Oh, I got money. I'm just going to add to my position. And that's the beginning of the end. You start wiring more money to the exchange. You hear about the margin call. Yeah, don't worry. I'm just going to add. And then the fucking market maker is taking you to the cleaner. You could have lose maybe 100,000, but because you're trying to catch the falling knife, you put another 100K and another 100K and another 100K, and the prices keep going down. 3,300, 3,200, 3,100, 3,000, 2,800. And right around 2,800, now Bitcoin's starting to fail too. 97, break the 100,000, went below, 98, 97. And then quickly from 95-ish, it went quickly to 91, which there's only one explanation. It's cascade liquidation. Everything just gets sell.
Yeah, you see that straight.
Like and there's nothing you can do about it. You can put $1 billion that you can still get wiped out. Because some people thought, oh, I got big money. I'm going to buy the dip. I'm going to push the candle. No, when real liquidation comes in, unless you got money like BlackRock money, you ain't going to stop that wick with your little, no offense, with your little $10 million. You think you're going to make a damage? No, you're getting washed because everything is getting cooked. Correlation goes to 1. It's like stock market. Those people, when they panic, they run for the hills. They're not like crypto people. Like we can take 30-40% dips. Those people, the moment it goes 3% off, they're like, yeah, we out of here. We're not even staying. We're not even hanging out. Psh, bye.
Yeah,
and this is the fucked up part. You thinking that you're smart. You meaning the person that's trying to average down by the dip. You become the exit liquidity because now you would have lost what you're losing, but now you're sending more money to the exchange, and then now you're feeding a dead position, which now all of a sudden you went from like 100K loss to $1 million in a matter of like minutes because you're like, boom, boom, boom. It's kind of like, again, gambler's mentality, revenge trading. It's the same thing. You start losing. Now all of a sudden, instead of making $100 bets, you start doing $300 bets, $500 bets because you're thinking, I'm trying to get my money back. Which is the wrong way to think. Instead of just cutting your loss and leaving, you're like, no, I'm gonna play again. And that's when the casino just like take your whole shirt.
So Kareem, I had a question I thought you could be able to answer. So my understanding in the past is that we see like the Bitcoin high, and then shortly after that we get like Ethereum pumps, and then after Ethereum pumps, it rolls into the altcoins. That's what everybody's hoping will happen again and again. But
Yes.
this time, could it be a scenario where we end up going directly from Bitcoin into altcoins and it skips Ethereum?
It could be, and that's a great question, because actually one of my friends, I was talking with Yoon about this before, because he asked me the same thing. Because there's a chart out there. I don't know if you saw it. It was like a correlation chart that was showing previous cycle, the little yellow and gray chart. And
Okay.
and my reasoning, to my understanding, when I put everything together, is that I think what ended up happening is that the market now for the first time is not just going to try to it rhymes. It really will be decorrelated, simply because we're getting at a point now where the reality is this. When Bitcoin is at 80 to 100,000 like it is now, make no fucking mistake about it. Excuse my French. The only people that can push the price up are basically BlackRock money, stock market money, because it's too heavy.
Countries.
Exactly. Back in the day, the little guy can gang up together and then we can move markets. That was cool. First cycle, second cycle, third quarter. Because guess what? We were so low. Little guy with $500 to 10K can make business. Next cycle, guy with 100,000 can make business. Third cycle, guys with 10 million, believe it or not, there's a few rich people out there that can, inflation, that can get that money together and start making some move. But now we're talking hundreds of millions and billions. And the only people that can do that is stock market money. And guess what? Those people, respectfully, they don't care about your meme coin. They don't care about you. They're going to pump what? They're going to pump Bitcoin, because that's what they're scared about. And they have most of the money. But the sad reality is that they're not buying altcoins like that. They're literally focusing on Bitcoin. So the liquidity is coming in.
But with some of the new events, though, like we have Trump that in theory is launching a fork of Aave, right? So it's not a meme coin, but it's not Bitcoin or Ethereum, right? So
exactly. Exactly. But the problem is that those are still anomaly in a sense where this is great, but that's one example. In other words, it's like even Ethereum is too heavy. Ethereum is no longer $30, guys. It's not. It was at almost 4K at some point, and even right now almost 3K, because previous cycle it was like 1,300, and then he kind of ran to the 4K. That's when we had the the hex of 50 cents, and the first time Bitcoin went to $60,000. So technically speaking, yes, we're further away from all-time high, which is 4,800, but it's not like Ethereum is 1K. That thing is still $400 billion market cap. So and it's real volume, and it prints new ETH every day. So it's like, again, it's not as much inflation as Bitcoin. But we're not going to sit here and act like the inflation is nothing. It's still a lot of money. And guess what? Retail just got rinsed. Everybody that play leverage, they just lost all their money. Who the fuck's going to come pump the backs? The only people that can, they're not doing it. They're buying Bitcoin. And the few far in betweens who can, the Trumps, the whatever, it's not that heavy. So best case scenario, you have to wait that the other people who cares about DeFi like us, getting their back filled up on their Bitcoin and whatever, or their Ethereum, and then you hope and pray that they're going to migrate some of that money into our ecosystem. I mean, there's no other way to say it. Or we get a miracle, I'm not even joking, where we change people's mentality. They stop being degen. Good luck with that. And then slowly but surely, they start to learn about the buy and hold. And then it might take a while, but little by little, the little guy with the little paycheck, $500 here, $300 there, and not doing gambling, slowly and surely market cap start to rise. But for that to happen, the mentality has to change. The mentality is not going to change until people stop doing the degen stuff. It used to be bad, but now it got worse because also, to be fair, also because of the SEC, a lot of innovation went offshore. Nobody cared. Nobody wants to try. You can just create a fucking meme coin and then you can make $1 million in 3 days. It can happen. So why work hard? Why create an important project and make promises and all this stuff when you're going to get sued? Like, think about it.
But that is potentially changing, though, right?
Exactly.
There's been definitely a different feel from the SEC, and there's even been some things published lately that sort of indicate that they're likely to put on a different framework, right?
I believe you, and honestly, I really want to believe it too. That's my hope. I haven't lose hope, but fixing the mentality is the hardest thing, and that's what we need to do, and that's going to take a while. Because remember, I tell you all the time, repetition is the mother of all skills, right? So it's like when you build the same thing. Well, guess what? When you've been learning something bad, a bad habit for this long, and every time you're trying to do the right thing, you hear about a story about a guy that made $1 million in 3 days, and then you can't help yourself but think that, oh, what if it's me? It's the same thing with the lottery. Everybody knows they shouldn't do it. Everybody knows that.
But I think this plays into the RH's 4D chess. It's starting to come together in my mind. Like, what if, like we were just talking about, Kareem, if it doesn't move from Bitcoin into Ethereum like it did past cycles? What if it moves from Bitcoin into other DeFi or other chains? Like Ethereum is no longer the chosen one.
It's definitely possible. It's definitely
and then PulseChain with its new volume is now in the list. Like, what were we, number 4 for volume? So what if there ends up being a flow of from Bitcoin to PulseChain, Bitcoin to Solana, Bitcoin to BNB, right?
It can
more direct than before. That would make way bigger green candles.
Yes.
Than
and
it
by the
would
way,
have been had to stop on Ethereum.
Fun fact.
That could be the play.
Yes. And by the way, it happened before. Fun fact, history lesson. It was right around when I actually first got to Hex. Because I remember Ethereum came down from the top, $1,400. That was the first time he went to touch that $1,400. And then they got complacent. It was the same thing, but to a smaller degree. They started to be, we don't want to compete with the best, with the da-da-da. And then bear market came in, price started going down. 1,900, 600, 300. It went down to, when it started below 300, company was starting to shut down because they were relying on the price of ETH. I remember that like it was fucking yesterday. And then this is what ended up happening out of the blue. People start thinking, Ethereum is not just the end all be all end of the world, because clearly it's not bear market proof. And then people started to have a more open-mindedness into trying different chain. This is actually why other things start doing a little bit well. And actually it helped Hex because Richard Hart timed it well, because Ethereum showed the world that it's not, again, end all be all. Hex coming at the cool tune idea, which makes sense, pro DeFi, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, the Hex to ETH ratio went fucking crazy. This is where Godwell came into, double the candle. This is where the famous, hey, the floor is lava, everything red, but we were just decorrelated, call it whatever, for like literally for a whole 3 months straight. It's like Hex was doing something. So we were literally just selling the ETH. We didn't even care about the ETH because it wasn't moving. And then it was also going down. And it was just bear market territory. All the way, he went all the way to that famous $80 wick. I bought some there too. That was really cool. And I was like, I was able to buy like 500 ETH. I was stupid because the price was so low. But the point of the matter is that it gets to a point where people start to say, fuck it. I trusted you, but you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Now I'm open-minded to look at other things. And this is why, like in sales, this is the time when you should be doubling down and trying to get new customers, right? Grant Cardone said it best. When people retract, you want to expand. That's how you get market share. And that's, I think, what Richard is doing, rightfully so, because we already get kept. Like, this is the beauty about this. It can't get worse than what we've already seen. We've seen it all. We've been get kept left and right. We've been attacked, whatever. But now we're about to solve things. We're still here. We're doing well. Market just lost $10 billion 48 hours ago. Yes, we went down a little bit, but Hex didn't go for a penny. PX, that's very strong. Back in the day, with the lower liquidity, those kind of dip that just happened, we would have gone down another 80%. The fact that we're holding steady like that, it shows that to some degree, the money that's here, the people who are here, they believe in the ecosystem long term, which is really, really good. So I think, again, I don't want to put words in people's mouth, but I think we're going to get another moment like that where Hex ETH, PulseChain ETH ratio is just going to just be like, fuck around and find out and just go nuts. And I think this is where the Judge Carroll thing is going to be huge. People are not putting enough chips into it's a non-zero probability that people think, Richard has to wait, quote unquote, or, powers that be has to wait Ethereum all-time high before deploying the funds. There's no rule that says he has to do that. That's not people understand. We can literally just get the judgment from the judge and then all of a sudden the money starts to flow. There's no rule that say it has to wait. Because I remember Hex doing that when ETH wasn't doing well. We were decorrelating, we ran, and guess what? We picked up the first 10x like that, and then ETH started to pump, and because the ratio stayed relatively high, it carried us another 10x, and that's how we did 100x, because we had a 10x in Hex ETH ratio, and then ETH did a 10x by itself, and then that's how we picked up 100x, because I remember that's how I picked up my first 100x. Because I wasn't there on the first 100x of Hex when it started, but I cut this next one. So, yeah, but that's a great point, Fast Abdul. Again, that's my speculation. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. No financial advice, but it's a non-zero probability because and by the way, that will create insane FOMO because the market is thinking, we have to wait until ETH gets to a certain point. Because guess what? Those people might say, fuck it. We've been waiting on this Ethereum to pump. It's not pumping. Fuck it. Let's spend the money.
Next, like what are the top 5 chains for volume? PulseChain's one of them. I'm going to try that one, right? Like they don't even have to know why they're there, but if something like Pump.tires brings them to the chain, and then flee to utility after they've made some funds on ETH, then that could pump Hex and all the cores.
But here's where I would argue. So we could make a list of the quote unquote top chains, but what if we left off that list the chains that have a single validator, like Base?
Yeah.
What if we left off a chain called Solana that also has like a dirty origin story for its name and goes down all the time?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, wait a second. Now, where is PulseChain on the list? Now, I don't have a takedown for Sui because it's not important enough for me to have looked into. But, you know, I'm just going to go off the fact that, you know, PulseChain would be higher on the list if it was a list of true cryptos.
Yep. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the aggregator does that. They're trying to take away the fake volumes and the bots and the whatever. And then on there, PulseChain is very high up too. So
yeah, but like, you know, the NASDAQ, it's not listed on there because it's not crypto. It's a centralized middleman exchange that can go down on weekends and nights and all these other times, like almost as much as Solana. So like, it's incredible to me that PulseChain has already achieved much more than being in the top. You know, it's in the top 2 or something already.
Absolutely, Matty.
Without being listed and with being gatekept by every centralized exchange. Like, we're already there. And so that's why I'm still bullish on us, even if the broader market like goes up or down as it will. I think, you know, there's no other chain or coin like Hex where, you know, like the case is hopefully about to be dismissed.
That'll be a huge catalyst, Matty. The timing couldn't be any
for
perfect.
good news.
I really feel like if the stars gets aligned, I genuinely feel like it's right around that time when Godwell got in, which is literally that's when I got in, because those people were starting to get fed up with Ethereum. They're like, hey, you know what? It won't hurt us to believe in another potential product, right? That's able to do what Ethereum can't. The same way Ethereum got created because they were trying to do something that Bitcoin couldn't do. And I think sometimes a little bit of bear market action or a little bit of, because you start to be like, you know what? I've been waiting for this thing to do whatever, and it hasn't done it. So now I'm becoming more open-minded into, you know, navigating other things. And I think that could be one of those moments. And everybody on this panel agree, and the chat probably too, like we famously said, there's no better advertising than green candle. And if everything is red and everybody's panicky and whatever, and then we're the only thing pumping all of a sudden, that's going to attract a lot of people. The Pump.fun type shit, well, those people are going to come too and then play over there because we've seen it. It's not just Solana. Where did the money came from? The money came from Ethereum. And Ethereum
Trump
went to Solana the same way it used to be on BNB. You guys remember back in the day? They were the one doing the meme coin and then Tron and whatever. It's like the beehive. They just keep moving. That's all it is. It was, you know, BSV back in the day. Boom, BNB. Then it went Tron. Then, you know, Trump. And then it just keep moving. Then we got back to ETH. Then he went to Solana. And that's why I say, watch out when you look at the Solana BTC ratio. That money's about to rotate again. That's what it is.
But once people come in for the green candles, right? Like we need to teach them what's up so that they stick around. I think that's important. Like there's got to be a learning curve of like, this is not what the only thing PulseChain does. You can keep your stable coins here. You can do all this stuff.
Everything. Right? So the haters can't even hate. Oh, you want to do meme coin? We got it. You want to do DeFi, the real shit? We got it. You want the best APY thing? We got it. You want to do LP? We got it. You want to do real DeFi? Never been stopped? We got it. You can download, run it from your own computer. We got it. By the way, shout out to my boy in the chat, Super Hex. Good to see you, brother. Keep up the good work.
Yo, we've had a lot of awesome OGs come through the chat here, haven't we? I mean, like,
and that's what it means to fight and to win. You know, and again, the time I mentioned Super X is like people who find a way, like always promote. You can live your life, do your own thing, and then find a way. Hey, put a shirt here, do this, make a comment wherever you go. Like The little things. The same way Richard was saying to Ethereum, like, bro, stop acting like you already won the game. The moment you rest on your laurel, it's the beginning of the end. I don't care who you are. I don't care how long you think you've been winning. The real win is something that you can keep for many, many years. Longevity is really the real win. You can't just be a winner for 3-5 years thinking that you're going to stay number one for DeFi stuff forever. The moment you start to like relax, you're getting swept. And that's why, and there's something to be learned here. You know what I mean? Solana, love it, hate it, but at the end of the day, they got one thing right. They got the meme coin right. They realized that people don't care about real blockchain, even though they should. We all agree that. But at the end of the day, they created something successful. We got to, you know, look at it in a humble way. Be like, oh, what is there to learn? The same way back in the day, there was other chain that we had to learn. Like when Richard was talking about how he created Hex. Okay, who got the best launch? Boom, EOS. People can love it, hate it, whatever. Hey, they raised $4 billion. They were the best at doing it. So what did he do? Boom, he took that. Who had the best, you know, Uniswap came out, especially V2. Hey, better than being on the exchange. Okay, cool. Boom, let's get that. Hey, EIP 1559. Hey, burning. Okay, that sounds like good. Boom, let's take that. PulseX, let's go. Like, you got to be able to pivot like that and be humble, because some people, you know, they get butt hurt and then they be like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. No, sometimes you got to pivot, because we can't just sit here and wait for Ethereum to do all the work. And clearly they don't want to fight. So instead of just being there at their mercy, because, you know, bonding liquidity and all, I'm like, all right, cool. Well, you're not doing the work, then we're going to go do the work. Because Ethereum should have been doing what PulseChain is doing, but they're not. And that's why we say, you know what, we're going to take the pump from Solana and we're going to bring it back to EVM. Because guess what? If and hopefully when, but if PulseChain is successful to do that, PulseChain is going to carry Ethereum's ass. Yeah, I said it. That can happen, because now with EVM, let's say we pump like crazy. Next thing you know, ETH can catch a bit because of us. Because new people coming into PulseChain, what are they going to do? They're going to buy ETH or stablecoin, which means ETH related EVM to then bridge, because we're so gate kept. So in other words, we're helping Ethereum by providing some.
You're welcome, Vitalik. Anti-winning alien.
You're welcome. So hopefully some ETH bro who are watching right now, like, stop. I mean, I'm not saying that, but those who are hating on PulseChain is so dumb, because technically you should be helping us in a way, because it benefits you too. Long-term synergy, like the gas station analogy, right? The more you open in the same area, everybody wins. More customer comes in. That's it.
Yeah. After paying a $4 swap fee on PulseChain today, I'm like, you know,
that's pretty crazy.
When is PulseChain V2 coming out? When's the next McDonald's opening up down the street, right? Like,
$4 is still not a $300 Ethereum transaction. Just Ethereum happens to be shit today. So
we don't have to get 10x more popular for you to see that, right? Or sorry, 100x like more popular. We only have to get what, 25x more popular, and then like the square function takes over from there. So like, yeah, do I think that PulseChain will get 25 times more popular than it is even today? Yeah, I do. Do I think it's going to happen this cycle? Yeah, I do. Do I think we're going to have to wait for Trump's third term in order to get him into PulseChain? No, I don't.
Be a different problem.
No, I don't. Okay. Right. Yeah, like we haven't.
Let's double click on that. You just said Trump's third term.
We haven't done that since Eisenhower, you know? Okay. My grandma, God rest her soul, was like, wait, there's a 2-term limit?
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's what they do in our country. Be careful.
Right. Well, some would argue this is his third term because, but we're not going to get into that. Look at how many people we have in the chat who are all like familiar faces, who have shown their faces at making content for Hex and PulseChain. I mean, it's just like, like an incredible number of people tonight.
Ash in the chat too.
The group of people that we've seen that are familiar faces. We got Hexfire, we got Nagabo, Matty Allen, some dude over here. We got Sami, we got I already said Brissology and Fast Abdul. We got Crypto Stylist is somebody who makes content. Gold Key. I really appreciate his alpha lately. Him and Dipcatcher have been huge voices of reason, even if people, you know, are not kind to them. I'm a huge fan and always show them my support. Johnny Chaos. Yeah, I mean, the list goes on and on of people, Super Hex Win, that are just like, they're known in this community because they make content. You don't have this in other cryptos. You don't have this this combination of true DeFi and people being locked in for 5 to 15 years. I mean, I made a joke on Twitter today. I put up a poll and I said, would you rather be locked in prison for 15 years or go to a casino? And the people who are viewing my Twitter results and seeing that like 12 or 15% of people would rather go to prison than go to a casino had no idea what the context was today.
Yep.
And were probably horrified and shaken in their reality. So
yeah, sometimes when you have, the strong values and then you just know what's good for you and what's not, then, it becomes easier. That's what we're talking about with Fast earlier, where it's like, that's my biggest fear. Hopefully we can change that, where once normalcy comes back in common sense and we got the guidance that we've been talking about, so we can build real stuff again without, the fear of being sued and whatever. I hope that the DGen mentality that really, really took over the last 2 years, because sometimes it's a little bit, obviously, people's in a bad habit, but a lot of it is kind of like, caused by Gary Gensler and all the BS, because it pushed the information away and then forced people to just go do the gambling thing. I hope that we can kind of reverse that progress of degeneracy back to, it's not going to completely go away. Let's not get naive, but at least if we can, scale it back even like 30%, that would be a big win, because now people start to win again, doing the right thing. Because the problem is with those bad habits, the way it works is that the bad habit gets rewarded, and now people start to think it's the right thing to do. And then these days, like this weekend happens, and everybody get washed out, and then you relearn the hard way that you shouldn't do that, but it's too late. You already lost all your money. All the hard-earned money that you did for 2023, gone. All the profit you made, gone, because you left the money in the chart. And especially when you do heavy leverage, it's not yours until, you know what I mean, you take it out. So
right. We also got Taurus Talks, who just started his YouTube channel. I've been meaning to make a tweet to explain all the new channels that have just started here in the past couple of weeks. There have been a whole handful, at least, of people that I've subscribed to who are brand new content creators, or they, like they're doing something new with their content. So shout out to Taurus Talks, who's also a fellow Texan, definitely a awesome Hex content creator there.
Nice. So we pretty much, I think went over everything for the most part. But again, just, we take things with a grain of salt, enjoy the new tool, on board. We're not like Ethereum. We're not just going to roll over and we're going to innovate. We're going to bring the people in, because we know that we're doing it for the right reason. The same way, back in the day when I started, and I used to talk with Crispy about this back in the day, where it's like, whatever it takes to bring the people in. And then after that, we're just going to do the education, and hopefully some of them can see the light. And then we're not saying we're going to change people, but we're just, hey, it wouldn't be a bad idea for you to look into this thing too. So if you do your DGen stuff, at least have the long-term stuff that can end up saving your life 5-10 years from now. So that way, if you have to go DGen because you just scream, I can't help it, that's fine. Go get your fix. But at least get your life jacket or your safety net. You know what I mean? So at least push comes to shove, God forbid, years down the road, you have this thing here working for you, right? The thing that we keep saying all the time, we just say all the time, flawless operation. That's important, because it means every day our Hex works, we're getting paid every day. The number keeps going up. So you don't see it until it compounds, and then years in the future, you're going to look like, wow, how much Hex do I have? Boom, then it hits you. Like, you realize how much you've been. So sometimes, even when you stand still, you're doing something great. The same way I used to tell people, what's easy to do is also easy not to do. It's very important. It's wisdom. Like, standing still is hard. Some people can't stand still. So it's like, you know what I mean? But if you're able to do that, you're doing something. The action is the inaction. That's literally the value. And this is how true wealth is being built. So hopefully, people get that message. So
we've got some news stories here to help people build their wisdom and their wealth. And the first one here is a little bit racy, not too bad, but so there's been some reports that people were watching porn in their crypto wallet browser.
That is wild.
So imagine going to MetaMask or Phantom or one of these wallets, Trust Wallet, going into the wallet app that holds your private keys and using that browser as the way to go
wild.
to
This is
Pornhub.
terrible.
Yeah,
sign.
I mean, people don't understand a lot of fucking scams and phishing and viruses go to those, sites. And because again, some people just can't help themselves. So they become targets over there.
What a rookie mistake.
Don't watch
is why-
porn in your crypto browser. Don't give your roommate your private keys. Those kind of things.
Right.
You know?
Right.
This is exactly why I'm a big proponent now of I tell people don't hold major crypto in your phone because people have bad hygiene, tech hygiene with their phone. I'm just going to leave it at that with staying PG. But it's because stuff like that will happen. You're like, oh yeah, no worries. Let me just go to this link real quick. And then next thing you know, what was it? The MetaMask one time, a lot of the phishing on people on MetaMask were happening to people who had MetaMask on their phone. I don't know why, but the key was being shared or some shit. I don't remember exactly the detail, but that's why I was like, went back to the computer. If you don't have something like a smart wallet, go back to the computer. Do not.
So you can be like hundreds of other people on this channel who have bought a Trezor hardware device from my referral link in the description below. And I know that I had broken 300 before we even got to this year of sales of selling these devices. And that was the old version, the most basic Trezor you could get. But now they have the Trezor 3, which I have a link to in the description below. And that's what I've upgraded to. I do Trezor only, even though I've tried all these other wallets too, all these other hardware devices. But Trezor's the one, and the Trezor 3 model, it's a little bit better than the Trezor 1 because it's got one of those chips in it where if you try to take it apart, it self-combusts. And it's one of these military grade things where even if somebody has your device, they don't have your crypto without the PIN and the passphrase that you put into it. And
so self-combust. Tell me more about that. Like this message will explode in 10 minutes kind of thing? Or
yeah, so there are special chips that are made nowadays where if you tamper with them, they will self-destruct. And that, that's actually one of the main distinguishing features of the Trezor 3 over the Trezor 1.
Nice.
Interesting. Don't carry it in your pocket.
Well, it's not going to explode like a pager or something.
Nice.
But
Not like
but I mean, why not have the best technology when the price is so similar to like the original one, and it comes with like a metal finish on it, and the other thing that it does actually, which is really important, is instead of like displaying the numbers on the screen to where you have to click on it, it does all of the PIN verification on the device itself, not part on the computer and part on the device. And so that's actually probably a more important and like common security feature because most people aren't gonna have the local military or government or assassin or hacker come to your home and try to disassemble your device. But in this case, even just how you enter your PIN is a more secure method where if somebody has a camera on you that you don't know about, then they can't just basically figure out what your PIN is, even though it's not being typed directly into the computer. it's still being shown on the screen.
Because it changes every time, right? Like the position of the numbers. Is that how it works? Or I haven't tried this.
That's how it used to work, but now it's like a completely different method of like doing it all on the device itself.
Okay, nice.
And so yeah, like the Trezor 3 rocks, and that's what I'm rocking now. Multiple like I have multiple. I think I ordered like 30 or 40 of them to give out to onboards and stuff when they had their sale recently. So shout out to Crypto Class as well in the chat, another content creator that makes really great content, and you should check out her channel as well on YouTube.
Yeah, this is a great comment from Ash earlier. I like that. No, still believe in this community, good people and good long-term minded outlook, so we can keep figuring stuff out as we go. If we built it, they will come. Very well said.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, again, it's just, shout out Susie Q too. Here, believe in Richard. Glory days. Again, it's long-term, guys. Long-term. And then, I just want people not to get lost in the sauce, and then we should be good, Good news are coming. That is a fact. We're getting the clarity. We're getting all the stuff. The macro looking good. And then we just need to understand that we're getting out of this winter, and then hopefully by the spring, hey, shit stop popping again.
Ooh. Can you give me a more precise date on that, please?
Soon.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
Hashtag 2 more weeks.
Indeed.
Let me see if I can share this video here.
Some weekends need to be washed out first. I could do the thing.
Okay.
And then again, when in doubt, just look at the PulseX chart ratio. It looks so beautiful, man. Up and to the right, PulseX.
Let me know if you guys can hear this one, okay?
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Oh, I know.
Okay.
We can hear it.
I'm a crypto investor.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
What? That's fucked up. Don't worry, the other memes will be back when the guy comes with the Lambo and then do a little, interview and then drive off. That's coming back. That's
right.
Bro, the real
me?
reference,
What do you do for
the
a
real
living?
reference, the people who got liquidated, bro, they're not even having that little bicycle. They're just on foot.
Nothing.
They have nothing. They have nothing. They're literally on foot. They're not even, no troller. Nothing is left, okay? Please drill that into your brain. Be safe out there. Market maker is not your friend.
We've also got a story here. Ethereum is like 50% of their nodes are signaling for a block size increase, which is the first time in many years. Dipcatcher has actually calculated out that
20% increase, right? Something like that.
That they might actually catch up to PulseChain's throughput if basically
Here's the joke.
if
Remember,
they do that upgrade.
Anything Ethereum can do, we can just update and get it too.
Right, exactly.
Well, that's the point though. You're talking about the $4 transactions. If Ethereum introduces their sharding thing or whatever, we'd be back down to like 4-cent transactions on PulseChain, right?
Once we adopt it first, Richard's pointed out that we're actually a safer version of Ethereum because they have to test the
Ethereum is not test net.
Right.
I'm joking.
No, I mean that's
it's kind of true.
So,
we can turn it that way.
And Gold Key here, he's reported on the same thing here, that 50.8% of Ethereum blocks are signaling for the gas limit increase. This is the first gas limit increase for Ethereum under proof of stake. The average Ethereum block, so on and so forth. There you go. The blocks are filling up there. And on the other hand, I saw that the Bitcoin meme pool. The Bitcoin mempool got cleared for the first time, I don't know, in a long time.
That's crazy.
And so it
I
was
mean,
like,
there's not that many transactions. I mean,
yeah,
to be fair,
it was like a
Black Rose and
millionth
the
of a
boys,
Bitcoin to do
they're
a
not playing
transaction.
DeFi. They're just buying on exchange, and then they'll send it to Coinbase to cold storage. So it's like the velocity of the money of Bitcoin is going down, rightfully so, because without that, the price just can't keep going up because you need it to be like slow down, not move, and then they create the big support and they just keep sucking the liquidity out and then, stacking the coin somewhere safe, supposedly, and then not moving it. Therefore, the mempool gets less and less transaction over time because the coins are getting bought and put to cold storage. Or under, a volcano somewhere or on a
That's
bunker.
right. Yeah, no joke.
I mean, even though technically, like Richard said, the coins are on the blockchain, so they don't really move. But everybody catches the analogy about why it's slowing down the main pool. So,
I mean, El Salvador was offering to like open its prisons to U.S. Government.
Mm-hmm. Send them here. We'll train them. It's actually so cool
in exchange for payment.
Yeah.
And he's like making this case on Twitter, and I'm like, well, is the payment going to be in Bitcoin or is it going to be in
they have a cool
fiat?
program over there now for the prison. They reform those people. They got work. They work for the prison, and then they get paid, and they're learning a skill. So when they get out, they.
But are they getting paid in Bitcoin?
No, not yet. But at
Okay,
least they're doing something productive and learning a skill that's going to help. Society.
Yeah.
So, but that would be a good next step. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, like I think a lot of people in California, they would think instead of not thinking at all, they'd think twice or maybe even 3 times about committing a bunch of crimes, if they had to go to prison in El Salvador.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just like
I
being
would
allowed
think
to
very
free.
strongly about that. Yeah.
If
that was an issue.
Yeah. So we'll see how that plays out. Now, there's also been a breaking story with like the SEC and how that relates to PulseChain and Hex. I actually provided a contrarian opinion to this compared to some of the other community members who I value. And this idea. So Hester Pierce had released like a super long essay about what the task force is thinking. And under point 3 of like many points, she says, and this is Hester Pierce is like a pro crypto SEC commissioner who like always got outvoted by the other SEC commissioners and by the chair of the SEC, corrupt, evil Gary Gensler.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's being looked to more for guidance as she creates this special task force for crypto. And but I really don't like the wording of this, and I'll read it to you. The task force in regards to coin and token offerings also is thinking about the possibility of recommending commission action to provide temporary, protective, and retroactive relief for coin or token offerings for which the issuing entity or some other entity willing to take responsibility provides certain specified information, keeps that information updated, and agrees not to contest the commission's jurisdiction in the event of a case alleging fraud, whether there's real fraud or not, just alleging it, in connection with the purchase and sale of an asset. These tokens would be deemed to be non-securities, and thus there would be no uncertainty as to whether they would be able to trade freely on secondary markets not registered with the SEC, as long as the information is kept up to date and accurate. This approach would bridge the gap until a more permanent rule or legislation could be finalized. It would provide a pathway for existing tokens to find their way out of the fog of uncertainty that obscures a feasible path forward. This is okay. So this is literally the policy that they had before, which is come in and register.
Yep.
And this does not relate to Hex and PulseChain because we're literally fighting jurisdiction right now.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're not called a security. If you have to go in and concede jurisdiction, then they can still come back at you forever at any point and tell you that you did something fraudulent when you didn't, like in the case of Hex. And so this is, not super bullish for Hex and PulseChain. The super bullish thing for Hex and PulseChain is that we're already in a position to win, as some might say, the case over jurisdiction, and not have to do this ludicrous like gray zone area thing, that we could actually have a federal judge like rule that the SEC has no jurisdiction over us, and that there's no need to further go into the discussion of whether there's fraud over these $12 million that were spent on marketing, which like was not like the whole idea that Hex or PulseChain weren't offering isn't even supported within the SEC complaint, because the timeline, as Richard's lawyers pointed out, is wrong.
Yep.
Among the many other reasons that we could point to as to why, even what the judge said about, where's the fraud if people got airdropped tokens? So
yeah, people got what was quote unquote mentioned. The blockchain works and the blockchain got delivered. You know what I mean? So this is why I'm so bullish about this, because it's like, especially for Hex, it's most likely that's the one that easy in my mind that's going to get dismissed. But one thing that's really cool about what Hester Pierce is doing as a whole and the SEC restructure is the fact that a lot of the lawyer in the SEC that was just literally weaponized to just go after crypto people as a whole is now going to stop. The hunting for no reason is going to stop. And that's something that David Sachs also mentioned in his remarks when he was talking there. That's very, very important, because that helps us understand that once we hopefully beat this case and move on, we're getting some degree of protection and not just being hunted again for other dumb shit. It's just going to be like, all right, we can just move on, have our guidance, and just continue with that. Because again, Hex, technically speaking, right, pure DeFi, there's no, like you said, there's no jurisdiction in one place. It's worldwide. It's code that can be run by anybody, and then our community is worldwide. So all of that is just good to go. We're getting the clarity, and we're getting we're getting a stop on just being attacked for no reason. And I think that's the most bullish part about it all, which is good. And Maddie, real quick, I want to answer a Bitfinex question here. It says, what does claims like Elon AI to go to the system of the U.S. Treasury ripple effect? Yeah, I think that's good, because overall, it's the same thing where you guys remember we were talking about it one time where I think it's Congress, or basically they pass those bills, and it's insane because they send the bill to pass like 24 hours before the actual date. There's like hundreds and hundreds of pages, and then they expect senators and people to read 500 pages in 24 hours and then vote on it. Like, it makes no sense. So with AI, which is cool, kind of like Grok, whatever, you can just run the bill through AI, and the AI gives you the main bullet point. That's how you're able to catch a lot of the fraud, a lot of things that they're trying to insert. So I think AI has a place in government in order to make government more efficient. Now, again, is it going to be a little bit bumpy? You know what I mean? There's people that might have a second degree effect. I was literally talking with my brother about that, because he lives in DC, and then he has, friends, like people from that got affected by that. But what I made him understand is that, yes, it does suck, but a lot of those fraudulent things, this is what's so fucked up, guys. It's like, imagine somebody that's scamming, stealing money, but then has kind of like, not a shell company, but this guy, the scam inside something that's very useful. Something like, they do donation and they help people. So it's like, they're going to cry wolf, say, oh, what about the poor people? And what about the da-da-da? And it's fucked up because they're stealing money, and then you want to shut them down. But there is some collateral damage, unfortunately, because some of the money is being used to do good things, but so much of the real money is being stolen. So once they're getting caught and shut down, they're going to go cry wolf and, send the people to say, hey, it was taken away from. No. And that's why it has to be run through AI. You have to cut, because it's to save the country. You know what I mean? And then, of course, as you cut certain things that you overcut, then you can bring back and try to make sure that those who got affected indirectly are now brought back. So again, it's not easy, but it's a necessary cut, because let's be serious. They have literally 2 years to do this and start bringing results, because everybody knows the way the system works. Then there's going to be the midterm election. So if they don't get a result by then, they might lose the House, or they might lose the one of the two. I forget what the other one was. The House of the Senate. So it's like they have to move fast. They have to do Twitter style, because it's like the best analogy I can give, which is kind of fucked up, but just to prove a point, is like we've been on this unhealthy behavior for so long, and now we're taking the pill, we're taking the medicine, and sometimes, yes, it gets a little worse before it gets better. So, but hopefully, as a whole, it would be cool for American to pay a little bit less tax. I think that's cool. It would be cool for, jobs to come back to America and manufacture and all sorts of stuff. I think that would be cool.
Oh yeah.
Now, it's a long way to get there, but you got to start somewhere. You know what I mean? So, and then hopefully the results comes, and then, we suffer as a team, so to speak. But if we know the goal is just and we're moving in the right direction, I think it's a necessary pain we have to go through. But it does suck when you know people who are getting directly affected, because their job, imagine you're a contractor and you're just doing your job, but then you got hired by a company that got hired by another company, which is connected to the company that's doing the fraud. So when the money gets cut, right, from the federal funding, whatever, then you get hit, because you have the, you know what I mean? You have the second or third degree, because your company was hired by the other company, which no longer has funding, because we find out that their program majority is fraudulent, but then the whole thing gets shut down. So if the whole thing gets shut down, then whatever they were working towards, what you were working on as a contractor of another company, then a lot of government employees now are getting hit like that, or federal employees. So that's the one.
We definitely got to congratulate one guy in crypto, Satoshi Nakamoto. He's hit the $100 billion club now.
Wow.
I don't know what the pullback or not, but he was up to 110 billion when I looked earlier today. So I think he's still easily in the. I don't know what number of zeros that is, what club that is. What if you're a millionaire? That's 7 zeros. So what is he in the 10, 11? How many zeros is that?
1,000 wallets? Come on now, that's insane.
Right. Yeah, like what do you think you are? The OA's daughter addresses or something?
I mean, that's what's hilarious. I knew he had that many coins, over 1 million for sure, but I didn't know he was spreading that many wallets. I mean, I get it, the whole safety aspect, but that's a lot of wallets. 22. I was thinking maybe 500 wallets. Maybe
AI, 15 people in the world have $100 billion.
Yeah.
15? That's it?
Yeah. So that's a very small club, including Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, but not many.
Wow.
I'm not even sure if Bill Gates is in the 100 bill club anymore. Didn't he fell down?
I haven't been tracking him as close as I used to.
Yeah, he's still a billionaire, but I don't think he's in. Well, I mean, I could be wrong, but I thought he fell off a little bit from the 100 club.
I think he's still doing okay, probably.
No, he's doing definitely okay. But 100 bill, like you say, only 15 people.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Yeah, Warren Buffett and stuff.
Yeah, Buffett for sure.
Well, congrats, whoever you are.
No, good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Is there any other question in the chat? Maybe. Let me see.
Crispy, what other topics you got for us here?
Wait, is it a Vegas event? Somebody just asked me if I'm going to Vegas. Is there a Vegas event coming
in March?
Oh,
there's PLSX.
I've got RG3. RG3's coming on the show on Thursday nights to talk about that.
Sure.
We're gonna tell more people about the March 6th through 9th event that he's hosting called the PLS 369 conference, not to be confused with PulseChainConference.com, which will be an online only event that will be again at the second launch anniversary of PulseChain in the middle of May.
Okay, understood. Okay, Taurus, the answer is I don't know. Maybe I'll watch Maddie's stream and then I'll decide if I'm going to Vegas.
Yeah. We'll get all the breaking news there about what they've got planned. And I mean, RG3s, and you go to PulseChainTour.com to get your ticket. This is the premier. This is the biggest in-person event for Hex and PulseChain that I know of this year. It's coming up here. So definitely tune in to check that out. And then we've got also a pro tip here. about validators don't care about the base gas price. It's just the minimum fee to get into a block, and it's 100% burned. What they really care about is the priority fee, and that's their reward. The higher the priority fee, the faster your transaction gets processed. The key takeaway is this: raising the base gas price doesn't do much. What really matters is increasing the priority fee. A higher priority fee gives your transaction priority over others, making validators more likely to include it in the next block. And they're happy to do so since the priority fee is their reward. Fast Abdul would say bribe. Paying a high gas fee alone won't speed things up. It's the priority fee that counts.
I bet you Brett Tep's running a couple validators.
It could be. And yeah, so like I'll just give people like a really quick point of information. So if you get a transaction stuck on chain, or you're like, this is on PulseChain that I'm speaking about. If you are advanced enough, remember, if you're advanced enough as a user to be playing around with your nonce, you go into the settings in MetaMask and you enable the ability to edit the nonce. The nonce is the transaction number that you're on. Your wallet address can only do one transaction at a time. And so if you get a transaction stuck, the way to get it unstuck is to send 0 or 1 PLS to your own address from that address. So I go into wallet 20 that has the stuck transaction, and I send from wallet 20 to wallet 20 1 PLS, and I bump up the fee on that higher. So if it's quoting me like 3 cents to send pulse, maybe I jack that up to 30 cents. And then I bump the nonce down, because it's automatically going to tell me you're on transaction like 35, like is the next transaction that it's going to queue up for me. But I manually lower that down to 34, which is the number of the transaction that's stuck. And it will choose to take the self-send transaction because it has higher gas, and it will cancel the swap or whatever is a stuck transaction. And then now I can do the next transaction number higher as normal, without having to edit the nonce anymore. So that's the official like method that you'll find to undo to get a transaction unstuck. But if you don't know that, you could be very frustrated with all of your funds sitting there while you watch these prices go up 50x and down 50% all over the place.
Hot tip: if you don't understand what Maddie said and you don't want to figure that out, don't use MetaMask. Use Rabby or Internet Money Wallet, and it almost will never happen. Almost. I've only had to do it once with Rabby in the last year where I had a stuck nonce, and I've never had to do it with Internet Money Wallet. But many times with MetaMask, exactly as you described, Maddie.
Cool. Yeah, we got to. For me, the risk of switching is greater because I'm dealing with now, as usual, like my life savings in crypto, and I'm not, even though it's it's not as smooth of a experience, it's something where I have used it for so many years, and it's got critical mass where I know other people are using it. So that's why
that's also great to have multiple wallets. Like I used to tell people all the time, when I was talking, they want to create account. It's like you can have that as main, and you can have another wallet, because Rabby probably came after MetaMask, right? MetaMask just happened to be the OG during that time. That was the only thing around. It's not like we had all the option. Even you
can import your MetaMask to Rabby or Internet Money, but there is technically more risk there than if you hadn't done it, right?
I did run into like a particularly terrible bug on Rabby. I don't remember like the exact details of like basically I had to like abandon the instance and recover the wallet through the seed phrase on a different device. But I don't remember exactly what the issue was, but it was yeah, it was messed up. So
they've come a long way. That says Internet Money Wallet. Like those are things that are in development, right? Like a wallet is not a static piece of software. Like there's devs working on these wallets all the time. So, including
that creates better user experience. It also creates risks. Both, like, things. That's the whole argument and why Bitcoin shouldn't change is because they don't want to ruin it. They don't want to introduce a bug or something not acting as normal. Zenith, we got another friendly face here in the chat as well. Awesome to see so many people popping in. It's probably because this has been such a shakeup with the Pump.tires.
Yeah,
we did have
a today. So, and also, it's another great reminder about, again, people getting liquidated. Those days like that you remember why the core beliefs that we have in the community are so important. You know what I mean? So obviously, it's a little sad to see people lose, some of them, all their money, but it's a friendly reminder that this ain't a joke. This ain't a game. Like, it's like your money can be gone if you fuck around and you find out. Sometimes what you found is ugly. Oh, nice.
Gold Keys reporting here on day 3 for the Pulse.tires statistics that 3,700 coins have been created. 93
graduated. What does that mean?
Graduated means that they hit their bonding curve, which means that so basically Pump.tires is a launch pad. You can only trade the tokens on the Launchpad platform until they reach 200 million Pulse, and then they get launched into the PulseX.
Gotcha. They have to have enough liquidity. Okay.
Right.
So they hit like a point, and then they get pushed to the DEX where everybody can trade them.
And it's on a bonding curve even before it hits PulseX. And so the person who buys first, oftentimes the person who created it, they they're getting the cheapest price. And then anybody who buys after is paying a higher price and a higher price unless somebody sells, and then a new person can come in and get a lower price, but not lower than the amount that hasn't been sold yet. So the person who buys first is always at a greater advantage until somebody else comes along and, until one of the earlier people dumps. But basically, because the price of PulseChain was down, I think at 4 zeros and a 3.6, it was taking about, does that sound right? Well, whatever it was taking about $36,000 worth of Pulse being injected to launch a token off of the Launchpad and quote unquote graduate in the beginning. And now that the price of Pulse has gone up a little bit, now maybe it's like $40,000.
So it's counted in Pulse, right? Again, native Pulse.
And it's burning Pulse too. Like part of its function is it burns Pulse. So they don't get all of the Pulse direct into the coin. A portion of it goes to being burned.
Yeah. Uniquely. That's separate from the burning that happens from the transaction fees that are constantly being paid. Right. Even when you're operating on the platform itself, you're still operating on chain.
Yep.
But it's not operating from PulseX, a DEX, where then aggregators can also pick it up. And I've noticed that like Pateus is a little bit better when there's lower liquidity or like higher transaction volume and stuff. So like they both give you about the same price in my experience with these launch tokens, but sometimes PulseX just will say there's not enough liquidity with the launched token to even be able to trade it on there. But so That's what the graduating really means, is that it can be traded anywhere. Now that it's been launched off of the
Anyone can have
Launchpad
liquidity.
contract code on the blockchain to the DEX, basically. And Gold
That
Key
number
also,
there, that's $380,000 worth of pulse that was burned.
wow. Yeah, that at SAC rate is what, almost $1 million or something.
Yeah.
Right, 3 days, not bad.
Yeah. So also Gerardo created a website called Look into Pump.tires. I think
Oh,
is what it
okay.
is.
Yeah.
Let me double check
That's
that.
a lot
and
to look
I'll
into. Yeah,
show it.
look into.
Um,
Makes sense. Another thing would be nice to find out, just to put in perspective, it would be nice to see roughly what's the daily, does anybody know what's the daily issuance of Pulse created from the validator, so we can see what that 7 billion kind of represent in a grand scheme of things, to see if Pulse is getting deflationary action or not.
Does Pulse Coin List show that?
Good question.
I know Pulse Coin List has integrated all 19 of the RH ticker quote unquote thought upon RH meme coins or whatever. And I saw, just as we were on the show, I think Go Pulse added the top 3 meme coins from that list into their portfolio integration, so you can see which coins you have in which wallets. But the website, I was correct, look into Pump.tires, from Gerardo, the creator of Mentra.ai, which, by the way, they dropped their fee to 0. They're the first NFT platform that we know of that has a 0% fee now, which is cool because they are, that is where you can go to purchase not purchase, but you can support and donate to the Hex Conference and PulseChain Conference badges on Twitter. If you're a holder, you can pay for your own way, or if you're a fan of somebody who has a badge, you can help save the program by donating $600 on. But you'll have to go back to my tweet from Thursday.
Just to be clear, if I buy someone's badge, they don't work for me.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Unfortunately,
thwarted once again.
Right. But shout out to pulsecoinlist.com as well, because they're doing the Lord's work out here, keeping everything up to date. Oh, and it was kind of like a new use case, I'm told, that I invented with using Pulse domains, PNS, so-called like ENS, Ethereum name system fork names. So I used subnames of badge.pls to create NFT listings for people to fund the badge program. So instead of just saying, here's an address, send money to it, and then having to rely on like DMs to figure out like who's contributing to what, there's a much more organized system where, like, if somebody wants to pay for Rachel Laub's Pulse badge, then you can buy the NFT from Mentra that I created that actually represents rachel.laub.badge.pls. So it's kind of an innovative use of 2 different systems on PulseChain that really probably wouldn't be feasible on Ethereum because the fees are too high. And I wouldn't be surprised if more uses get built onto there eventually.
Could these become collector's items? Like if I buy Crypto Coffee's badge, could the price, could I relist it for a higher price?
I probably should have put in some barrier to that, because on the original NFTs that I created as a Hex Maxi before PulseChain was even a glimmer in Richard's eye, like I had solved the reselling problem to make it impossible for people to speculate on the price of the original hex badges.
I don't think that
on
would be
Ethereum.
a failure in this case. I think it would be okay. It would be
Well,
fine.
these are different times, in fact. Yeah,
They are.
I think
They
you're
are.
right. But yeah, shout out to all the builders out there on PulseCoin list and Mintra.ai and Pulse domains for making cool stuff possible. Well, guys, we're in a
Nice.
domain where there's endless news, but here we are
We went over
towards the
everything today.
end of the show, and I want to know, is there anything anybody else wants to update on?
Pretty much went
We're
over
gonna have
everything.
bribes available for you soon. We'll be talking bribes in real time, live on chain. We're just
cool.
about there, so that'll be cool.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is one thing I'd bring up. You probably haven't heard of Validator X yet.
That's good.
No.
That's a good one to talk about just briefly. So on PulseChain, we have 3 liquid staking of Pulse, contracts or groups. One is Pi, which is staked Pulse, STPLS. The other is Vouch, which is VPulse. And then the third is Validator X, which is UPulse. All of these are liquid staking apps, but you have to go do your research on them. But all of them, contribute some amount of the validation fees that they earn to reinforce the price and pay back the people that actually did the staking of the Pulse. And so each of them will go up on a yearly basis, some percentage versus Pulse. And so it's leverage on Pulse. So it's becoming pretty common, I guess, in a lot of different chains anyways, but here it's come, and we have 3 of them, and you have that ability to check out those projects and dig into them and see whether it works for you. And the difference is if you can get pretty close to the validation percentage anyways, that's pretty favorable without having to run a validator.
An easy way to be a validator. You can just essentially participate with these protocols, insert single-sided staking of Pulse, and you get the receipt token, right?
That's it.
Yeah, good updates. Good updates. Yeah, I mean, at a macro wise, we kind of pretty much talked about everything else already. So it's just more like a little bumpy around with the tariff stuff, but I think it's trending in the right direction. Rates are lowering slowly but surely. And if the market gets hit hard because of the tariff drama, well, guess what? It's going to push Powell to load more liquidity anyway. So starting yesterday, if you guys follow Zero Hedge, Fed's already injecting hundreds of billions of dollars plus of global liquidity coming in. So it's like they're starting to pump. So now we just need to get to a point where they do the official like end of tightening and start to really ease. When they start doing that, I think that's when DeFi start to go crazy, because look at it like it's the final signal for riskier assets to really start to go, because they really are injecting money. Because right now they're lowering rate, but they were still tightening, meaning they were before like selling the security that they bought during COVID. And now they're slowly starting to let money come back in and pumping it back. So, but they have to make that official stand, which probably is going to be coming in March, April, the latest, but I don't see later than that. But, we'll be here to report it when it comes up. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody in the chat, if you got any questions, let us know. But, yeah, other than that, I think we went over everything.
I'm trying to load up our thumbnail here, and it is going really slow. So,
I'm checking the chat, see if we miss anything. Oh, that's funny. Crypto class retroactive relief. I'm ready for STC compensation. Yeah, that would be funny if they do that. That'd be cool.
Indeed.
For all the harm they did.
Yeah. Class action lawsuit incoming. Not financial advice.
Mm-hmm. You guys heard the joke about Gensler trying to go back to MIT and finding a job there? That's fucking nuts. The week of all three, they send the week of all three and send a message to MIT because he used to go there. Anybody that takes this, if they take him, anybody that graduated MIT, we're not hiring you.
Right. I love it.
Put some pressure
Everybody should say that.
Gensler.
Yeah. Well, let's go around the room and tell everybody where they can find you, Crispy.
Xfire.io.
All right.
Nice. Twitter, Your Magic, as you can see on the screen, or on IG, Green Crypto Cuatro Cinco. Again, yesterday was my birthday. I had a good time.
Happy birthday. Yeah.
Thank you. It was yesterday. I did not cause the drama dump, but it was entertaining on February 3rd. That was just, yeah. But yeah, stay safe out there for sure.
Thank you.
You can find me at 2phux.io or at FastAbdul, as seen on the screen, on Twitter. Thank you.
I'm mati.pls.fyi. And yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in and hanging in there. Until next time, stake wisely, my friends, and peace out.
Peace.
Where's the music? I need the music.
Right? Wouldn't be complete without that daydreaming soundtrack.
Yeah, it's much better. I listen.